Chapter 2022. At this moment, the Ice Dragon ancestor had completely awakened from his slumber. Even though the Dragon Clan bloodline pressure between heaven and earth made Long Chen breathless, Long Chen did not take half a step back. Long Chen knew that the Ice Dragon ancestor would not be like the Sky Dragon ancestor, who wanted to kill him. When the shattered ice crystals melted in the world of ice and snow, the bloodline pressure around Long Chen also slowly weakened. The Ice Dragon ancestor went straight into the sky, probably to relax his muscles and bones that had not moved for tens of thousands of years. Long Chen smiled and waited patiently. Not long after, Long Chen felt a strong Hongmeng aura. Soon, a snow-white brilliance swept down, and a white-haired but hale and hearty old man appeared in front of Long Chen. This was the human form of the Ice Dragon ancestor. "Senior Ice Dragon?" Long Chen asked respectfully. The Ice Dragon ancestor stroked his beard, chuckled, and said, "You've finally come out. After tens of thousands of years of slumber, your strength hasn't faded too much." The reason the Dragon Clan hibernated was so that they could slow down the decline of their strength in this Hongmeng paradise, where the aura was faint. Although the Ice Dragon ancestors' original purpose was to do so because they had left the domain, the Spirit Pearl had been separated from the rest of the world. The changes in the Pearl naturally diverted some attention to watch over the movements of the Domain Pearl. Naturally, the realm strength of the Ice Dragon ancestor would weaken a little. Now that there is a dragon lake in the Longmeng Paradise, if Senior cultivates there, you will soon recover your strength, Long Chen suggested. The Ice Dragon ancestor nodded and said, "Have you put away the Domain Pearl?" Long Chen said, "Yes, Senior, do you need it?" After saying that, Long Chen acted as if he was going to take out the bounded pearl. To be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that the Ice Dragon ancestor had told Long Chen to put away the Pearl of Domain, Long Chen wouldn't have had the heart to touch it. After all, the power within the Pearl of Domain was completely unrelated to the Hongmeng aura that Long Chen cultivated. If he stayed by Long Chen's side, he might pose a threat to Long Chen. The Ice Dragon ancestor hurriedly waved his hand and said, "You can keep it yourself. I don't need him." Long Chen smiled bitterly and said, "I don't need it either. Maybe you will. Since you are not from Hongmeng, that means you are from another world. Maybe when you are tired of Hongmeng and want to go to the legendary land of origin, you will need it," the Ice Dragon ancestor said with a smile. Long Chen paused and said, "If I keep this bounded pearl by my side, will it cause any harm to me? You can rest assured about this. You can understand this bounded pearl as a kind of medicinal pill that contains the aura of Hongmeng. As long as we don't take the initiative to catalyze it, it will be stable. As I said before, the name of the bounded pearl is named by Longmeng Dao ancestor. I named it according to my heart. In fact, no one knows its real name. I think this Pearl of Domain is a rare spiritual treasure in the Origin mainland, but in our Grand Mist world, it really doesn't reflect its value," the Ice Dragon ancestor explained. Long Chen nodded and said, "Then I will listen to Senior." At this time, Long Chen would never have thought that the bounded pearl, which was not particularly important to Long Chen now, would have such a violent impact on his future life. Many, many years later, when Long Chen crushed the bounded pearl in the land of origin, he couldn't help but curse the Ice Dragon ancestor. Of course, this was all in the future. The Ice Dragon ancestor took a few steps forward and said, "I don't know if you can tell me, how did you, a human from another world, come to the Longmeng Paradise step by step, and how did you enter the Ice Cave secret realm to find me?" Long Chen smiled and said, "Senior, do you want to hear it?" The Ice Dragon ancestor curled his lips and said, "Nonsense." Long Chen let out a long breath and said, "Then I will begin." Long Chen's experience in coming to Hongmeng was too complicated and bizarre, but when Long Chen recalled his experience, he was surprised to find that since he came to Hongmeng, he was inseparable from the dragon race. The connection was from beginning to end, as if everything Long Chen did was centered on the dragon race in the Long Meng polar region. It could even be said that the current Long Chen had become a dragon, a real dragon. About an hour later, Long Chen finally told the Ice Dragon ancestor about his experience since coming to Hong Meng. The Ice Dragon ancestor's expression also became erratic as Long Chen narrated. From the beginning of entering Hong Meng to obtaining the inheritance of Dao ancestor Long Meng, to entering the small spirit world to help Long Mu reconstruct his physical body, to training in the Long Meng polar region, and finally to the people of Demon Phoenix to deal with the ancestor of the Sky Dragon. These experiences, without exception, were all precious treasures. Perhaps the thing that shocked the Ice Dragon ancestor the most was that Long Chen had obtained Long Meng's inheritance. After listening to Long Chen's story, the Ice Dragon ancestor let out a long sigh and said, "I don't have the qualifications to say anything about your good fortune. However, I, the Ice Dragon, am once again grateful to you on behalf of the entire dragon race for what you have done." Long Chen hurriedly said, "Senior, you are too serious. Since I have obtained the inheritance of Dao ancestor Long Meng, I must do something to repay the dragon race. Moreover, before I helped the dragon race reconstruct their physical bodies, Long Mu had helped me many times. Now I can be considered to be half a dragon." "Ha ha!" The Ice Dragon ancestor laughed. "How can it be half a dragon? Don't worry, when we get out, I will help you advance to Hong Meng Tianjing. At that time, you will be able to completely command the Sky Dragon true body that you have condensed. Then, you will be a real dragon." "Thank you, Senior." Long Chen cupped his fists and said. The Ice Dragon ancestor nodded and said, "All right, in the end, this is not a place to talk. Since I have already woken up, I will have to go out and take a look. I am very curious, in the tens of thousands of years that I have not been here, what exactly has the dragon race become? What does it look like?" Long Chen said, "It will always get better. Senior, you can rest assured." The Ice Dragon ancestor nodded, then released a Hong Meng aura, and flew straight into the sky. After an instant, a dome of heaven and earth appeared in the snow-white world. After gesturing to Long Chen with his eyes, he flew away. Long Chen hurriedly followed, his heart relaxed. He could finally leave. Chapter 2023. Long Meng Grotto Heaven, Dragon Lake. Normally, there weren't many people around the Dragon Lake. The Dragon Lake was a spiritual land formed by the combined efforts of the ancestors of the Dragon tribe. The aura of Hong Meng was much higher than other places in the Long Meng Grotto Heaven. Naturally, the Dragon Lake became the center of the Long Meng Grotto Heaven. It was the best place for the Dragon tribe to cultivate. When the people of the Dragon tribe cultivated, they would enter the Dragon Lake to absorb the rich aura of Hong Meng in the lake to ensure that their cultivation would not be hindered. Therefore, the shore of the Dragon Lake was usually empty. However, it was different now. The shore of the Dragon Lake was filled with people. It was as if half of the Dragon tribe in the Long Meng Grotto Heaven had come. The people gathered by the shore of the Dragon Lake were clearly divided into two factions. The number of people on both sides was about the same. These were the two factions. Long Mu looked at Earth Dragon Long Kuan in front of him. His expression was a little awkward. Long Mu had been cultivating in the Dragon Fox. Perhaps Long Mu had forgotten about it, or perhaps Long Mu did not pay attention to it. When Long Mu was forced to leave the Netherworld Cold Valley and return to the Dragon Lake, when Earth Dragon Long Kuan led his people to find him, Long Mu remembered that today was the day of the battle with Long Kuan. A long time ago, when the Dragon tribe was having a dispute over who should be the Dragon tribe's patriarch, the elders of the Dragon tribe came up with a solution. That was to let Long Mu and Long Kuan have a duel to see who would be the winner. Whoever won the battle would be the next tribe leader. However, this proposal was rejected by some elders who supported Long Mu. The reason was that Long Mu was only at the 7th stage of Hong Meng Tianjing. There was too much of a difference between him and Earth Dragon Long Kun. Therefore, it was obvious that they were bullying him. Long Mu. After such a rebuttal, the proposal fell through. However, when the discussion was about to end, Earth Dragon Long Kun brought up the topic of the battle. However, Earth Dragon Long Kun's suggestion was different. He said that the battle this time was not important. Earth Dragon Long Kun only wanted to have a battle with Long Mu. During the battle, Long Kun would try his best to suppress his cultivation to the 7th stage of Hong Meng Tian Jing. No matter who won or lost the battle, it would not affect the position of the tribe leader. According to Long Kun's intentions, he only wanted to compete with Long Mu once. Even if he could not become the clan leader of the Dragon Clan in the future, he still wanted to have control over the clan leader's strength. Since it had already come to this point, Long Mu couldn't refute and agreed in a muddle-headed manner. Long Mu listened to Long Kun's proposal and returned to the Dragon Lake to cultivate. Who would have thought that today was the day of the battle? Originally, Long Mu had wanted to delay for a while. However, when he saw that Long Kun did not come alone and had gathered all of the younger generation of the Dragon tribe, Long Mu knew that he had no choice but to fight today. Even if he lost, even if he knew that he would lose, he still had to fight. If not, Long Mu would lose the support of some people in the Dragon tribe. At this time, these people stood behind Long Mu without hesitation. This fellow is obviously using his power to bully others. If he has the ability, wait until I reach the 9th stage of Hong Meng Tianjing. Why don't I fight him too? Long Yuan, who was standing beside Long Mu, said indignantly. Looking at the arrogant Long Kun, Long Yuan was furious. It's nothing much. Long Kun will suppress his cultivation level to the 7th level of the Hong Meng firmament realm. Moreover, Long Kun will not do anything extreme in front of so many people. At most, he will just lose a match. Long Mu's heart was heavy and his face darkened. Steady. Long Yuan muttered to himself. If it wasn't for the fact that Long Mu had lived in the form of a spirit for tens of thousands of years, and if it wasn't for the fact that Long Mu had only condensed his physical body for a short period of time, how would Long Kun, who had yet to be born when Long Mu was growing up, dare to challenge Long Mu? I wonder how Master is doing in the ice cave. He has been in there for so long, but there is no response at all. In this situation, perhaps only Long Chun could calm Long Yuan down. Hearing this, Long Mu frowned. He wanted to say something, but when the words reached his mouth, he forcefully swallowed them back down. Since Long Mu couldn't enter the array, he really didn't know anything about Long Chen's situation. However, Long Mu knew that it was useless to worry now. Rather than wasting time praying for Long Chen, he chose to trust Long Chen. After all, with Long Mu's understanding of Long Chen, even if the secret realm was extremely dangerous, Long Chen should be able to resolve it. After all, Long Mu knew that Long Chen would be able to resolve it. No matter what, back then, in the polar regions of Hong Meng, dozens of Hong Meng Tianjing experts besieged Long Chen, who was only at the first layer of the Hong Meng Yuanjie. Long Chen was able to escape with his life. What kind of danger was there that Long Chen couldn't avoid? Although this competition can't determine who the clan leader's position will belong to, if you lose too badly in this competition, I think that those who support you will be disappointed. Naturally, Long Kun, who is the victor of this competition, will have a lot of support for you. Naturally, Long Kun will receive even more support. After complaining for a while, Long Mu began to analyze the current situation. To Long Mu, this situation was too disadvantageous. Even if Long Kun agreed to suppress his cultivation level in this competition, if they really fought, when the battle reached its climax, no one would be able to tell that he had slightly broken through his cultivation level. At that time, it would be even harder for Long Mu to fight against Long Kun. Long Mu shook his head and said, "Of course I know about this. However, even if I know, it's useless. With today's situation, this competition is no longer up to me. Perhaps Long Kuan had already expected that Long Mu would postpone the competition. Hence, he directly gathered almost half of the dragon tribe members and pushed the competition to the point where it was about to begin. This was to seal Long Mu's path of retreat. Around the dragon lake, all the dragon tribe members looked at Long Mu and Long Kuan, who were about to clash. Their expressions were filled with anticipation. If Long Mu chose to retreat at this moment, perhaps it would really be like what Long Yuan had said. Long Mu's future, the number of followers in the dragon clan would be greatly reduced. Long Mu's eyes were clear as a thick Hong Meng aura revolved around his body. His lips curled into a sharp smile and his entire person looked increasingly cold. If it was 100,000 years ago, not to mention one Long Kuan, even if there were 10 Long Kuan, Long Mu would not be afraid. Chapter 2024. The commotion by the Dragon Lake continued for a long time. Long Kuan quietly stood not far away from Long Mu, his expression as calm as water. After a long while, Long Kuan stepped forward and walked towards Long Yuan. Seeing this, Long Yuan also walked towards Long Kuan. Their footsteps were somewhat similar, and their expressions were similarly calm. As their footsteps landed, Long Kuan's killing intent seemed to be released uncontrollably. Long Mu furrowed his brows, and his expression became even more serious. Big brother Long Mu, today's matter was indeed abrupt, and I did not have the time to ask for your opinion. If Big brother Long Mu feels that it is inconvenient, why don't we fight another day? Long Kuan smiled. Forget it. Long Mu shook his head and said, since you have already made your preparations, let's fight directly. My cultivation realm is not as high as yours, and if you feel apologetic, you can suppress your own cultivation realm. Long Mu, what are you saying? When I was cultivating in my early years, I heard many stories about Big Brother Long Mu, and I was fascinated by it. Now that Big Brother Long Mu has returned, your cultivation realm seems to have regressed slightly. However, I believe that this will not affect Big Brother Long Mu too much. Long Kuan's smile was somewhat sinister. For some reason, Long Mu, who originally had a good impression of Long Kuan, started to hate Long Kuan from the bottom of his heart after hearing his strange words. On Long Kuan's body, Long Mu could not compare to the power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline, which was exuded by the power of their bloodline. Let's not waste our breath here. If you want to fight, let's do it quickly. Long Mu's eyes flashed with sharpness, and Hong Meng's aura slowly condensed around him. Long Kuan cupped his fists and said, Big brother Long Mu, please enlighten me. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Kuan's expression underwent a complete change. Originally, he still had a respectful expression, but at this moment, he was looking down on Long Mu as if he was nothing. It was as if Long Kuan's heart had already decided the outcome of this competition before it even started. Long Mu couldn't be bothered to waste his breath on Long Kuan. The dense Hong Meng aura contained the extremely pure power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline. The strength that only belonged to the Dragon Clan was pushed to the extreme by Long Mu at this moment. Long Mu, Hong Meng. His strength at level 7 of the Firmament Realm was fully revealed at this moment. Immediately after, Long Mu leaped up and headed straight for the top of the Dragon Lake. Long Kuan hurriedly followed behind. Similarly, a thick Hong Meng aura surrounded Long Kuan's body. The vast and violent Hong Meng's energy revolved around Long Kuan's body, supporting him as he arrived above the Dragon Lake in an instant. The two of them quickly hovered above the Dragon Lake, facing each other. Big brother Long Mu, in the past few years, my strength has been increasing in a rather unstable manner. Thus, I'm not able to control some of my moves well. If I can't control my strength well and accidentally injure you, Long Mu, please forgive me. Big brother, don't take it to heart. Since he wasn't on the shore, he didn't need to worry that his words would be heard by the other Dragon Clan members. At this moment, Long Kuan had more or less released his true nature. Long Mu curled his lips and said, Ever since I returned to the Dragon Meng paradise, my strength has been increasing quite quickly. I'll use what you said just now." Facing such a shameless person, Long Mu didn't plan to give him any face. "Then, we'll have to see how strong Brother Long Mu is." The moment he finished speaking, Long Kuen's eyes emitted a dense chill. A cold light seemed to flash around his body. Long Kuen's body moved and he appeared beside Long Mu in an instant. Immediately after, several dense Hong Meng forces suddenly burst out from his body. Before he could announce the start of the battle, these Hong Meng forces rushed towards Long Mu's vital points. "You're still using such low-level methods to fight with me. Even if my current strength isn't as high as yours, aren't you looking down on me a little too much?" Looking at the powerful Hong Meng forces, Long Mu coldly snorted. The surrounding Hong Meng forces suddenly surged out. With a punch, the vigorous Hong Meng forces formed a strong force barrier around his body. Clang! When the Hong Meng forces collided with Long Mu's force barrier, it only took a moment for them to dissipate. At the same time, Long Kuen actually withdrew from his body and threw out a punch. The biting cold fist wind wrapped around the dissipating Hong Meng forces and once again charged towards Long Mu. How could Long Mu give him the chance? His body flashed and he dodged the majestic fist wind. Boom boom! The fist wind slammed into the dragon lake below the two of them, causing several turbulent waves to surge. "Since you want to defeat me fair and square, you can use your true strength. Don't use such childish methods to embarrass yourself." Long Mu looked at Long Kuen, who wasn't too far away from him, and said in a deep voice. Hearing these words, the corners of Long Kuen's mouth curled up. He coldly laughed and said, "Since that's the case, I'll accept your challenge." After saying these words, Long Kuen's body suddenly rose into the air. The Hong Meng forces around him shook violently. Suddenly, an extremely powerful Hong Meng force burst out from behind him. This force pushed forward layer by layer, and in a few breaths, it condensed into a force that seemed to rise from the sky. On the surface of the Dragon Lake, there was an aura that connected the sky. This aura gradually expanded, and the Hong Meng forces that were released from it became more and more suffocating. 9 Firmament Sky. On the shore of the Dragon Lake, when the Dragon Clan members saw this scene, they immediately exclaimed in shock. It must be known that in the Dragon Clan, those who had the qualifications to cultivate the 9 Firmament Sky were either people who had the opportunity to advance or had already advanced to the 9th level of Hong Meng Tianjing. Long Kuen's cultivation was at the 9th level of Hong Meng Tianjing. Naturally, he had learned this technique. 9 Firmament Sky. The corners of Long Mu's mouth curled up, and a slight fluctuation flashed across his eyes. As early as 100,000 years ago, Long Mu had already cultivated this technique to its pinnacle. Now that he saw Long Kuen using this technique, it more or less caused Long Mu to sigh with emotion. Immediately after, Long Mu's entire body leaped up, and Hong Meng forces burst out from his body. It was as if he had done the exact same thing as Long Kuen. Very quickly, the same Hong Meng forces condensed behind Long Mu's body. It was obvious that Long Mu had also used this technique. 9 Firmament Sky. Rumble. The violent Hong Meng forces pushed against the Dragon Lake. Not long after, the Dragon Lake, which was filled with rich Hong Meng forces, started to shake under the influence of the two people. Waves rose and fell, surging violently. Chapter 2025. Hua Hua. The vigorous and violent Hong Meng's aura surged onto the surface of the Dragon Lake, creating huge waves that enveloped Long Mu and Long Kuen, who were floating in midair. The Hong Meng's aura continued to rise. In just a few breaths' time, Long Mu and Long Kuen had displayed the final form of 9 Heavens Firmament. Behind the two of them, the devastating Hong Meng's aura swallowed up the heavens, faintly roaring between the heavens and earth. When the Dragon Clan members on the shore saw this, they could not help but exclaim in admiration. No matter who it was, They could feel the fierce Hongmeng's aura contained within the two Hongmeng's aura. Even a level 9 Hongmeng Tianjing expert would have to face these two auras. The two Hongmeng's auras had no choice but to retreat 3 feet. When the two Hongmeng's auras had completely condensed, Long Kun and Long Mu looked at each other. From each other's eyes, the two of them could see a sharp aura. In an instant, as if their minds were connected, the two of them gave the order at the same time. The auras of the Hongmeng's auras behind them rushed out, and the two screens of light formed by the water of the Dragon Lake blasted towards each other. In an instant, the Hongmeng's aura soared. It shot straight up into the sky. It was as if the clouds in the sky were descending. Bang! When the two screens of light collided, it was impossible to tell which side had the upper hand. The impact from the collision of the two screens of light dispersed in all directions at the point of collision. The almost destructive Hongmeng's aura swept across the Dragon Lake. Immediately, a huge wave was set off. Under the waves that filled the sky, Long Mu and Long Kun did not dodge. The Hongmeng's aura around them was still steadily controlling the Hongmeng's aura behind them. As for the Hongmeng's aura, it was still standing between the Dragon Lake and the heavens. It was emitting an incomparably dense and pure Hongmeng's aura. Clang clang. Suddenly, several Hongmeng explosions sounded out above the Dragon Lake. From the center of the water screen, several pure Hongmeng energy waves were emitted. After these Hongmeng energy waves were formed, they were directed towards Long Kun, who was controlling both sides of the Hongmeng flame. He clashed with Long Mu. These Hongmeng chi waves were caused by the Dragon Lake absorbing too much of the Hongmeng explosive force, causing the Great Formation maintaining the Dragon Lake to overload. This was why the Hongmeng chi waves were released from the Dragon Lake towards the two most powerful forces above the Dragon Lake. It was charging towards the powerful energy source. The Dragon Lake was painstakingly built by the elders of the Dragon Clan. The Hongmeng chi released by the Great Formation was naturally comparable to the strength of the 9th layer of Hongmeng Tianjing. In the eyes of these two people, who could be said to be at the 7th layer of Hongmeng Tianjing, the Dragon Lake was extremely powerful. Every one of these Hongmeng chi waves was capable of knocking them down. The two of them reacted quickly. When the Hongmeng chi waves were charging towards them, the two of them chose to temporarily cut off their connection with the Hongmeng flame behind them. The two of them quickly retreated from the water screen, and at the same time, their bodies were protected by the powerful aura of the Hongmeng flame. Only with the protection of the Hongmeng aura did they manage to avoid the impact of the Hongmeng chi waves. When the Hongmeng chi waves dissipated, Long Mu did not hesitate and immediately released the power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline. In an instant, Long Mu's human form disappeared and was replaced by a Dragon Clan's true form that was dozens of feet long. Facing an enemy like Long Kun, Long Mu knew that he could not use the method of gradually probing the enemy like he did with others. If he did not use his full strength at this time, and something went wrong, even if he wanted to use it in the future, he would not have the chance. Not anymore. After revealing his Dragon Clan's true form, the Hongmeng aura that Long Mu could control increased by several times. At the same time, the Hongmeng flame behind Long Mu was even more shocking. On the other hand, when Long Kun saw Long Mu revealing his Dragon Clan's true form, he smiled and did not hesitate to copy Long Mu and reveal his Dragon Clan's true form. At the same time, Long Kun knew that against Long Mu, even if his cultivation realm was much higher than Long Kun's, he was still much stronger than Long Kun. However, he still could not let his guard down. After all, how could an existence that could live as a spirit for 100,000 years and reconstruct his physical body be a simple existence? The two Dragon Clans' true forms circled in the sky, and the vibrations of the Hongmeng above the Dragon Lake became more and more intense. The two Hongmeng flames that shot into the clouds were like pillars of heaven and earth, continuously releasing an incomparably dense and violent Hongmeng aura. Roar! Several dragon roars rang out, and the sky above the Dragon Lake suddenly became turbulent. The entire Dragon Lake also gradually became turbulent. The Hong Meng aura in the Long Meng Paradise was originally not very dense, but at this moment it was also very unstable. It became extremely unstable. The uncontrollable Hong Meng aura caused the two people fighting to fall into an extremely unstable situation. In other words, if Long Kun didn't restore his cultivation to the 9th level of the Hong Meng heavenly realm, the battle between him and Long Mu would become a competition of Hong Meng aura due to the unique existence of the Dragon Lake. Furthermore, both of them had used the 9 heavens firmament, causing the Hong Meng aura in the water curtain around the two people above the Dragon Lake to become extremely unstable. There was not enough Hong Meng aura in the outside world, and this pair was using the Hong Meng aura to fight. Both sides were in an extremely disadvantageous situation. The next competition was to see which side could adapt better to the unstable Hong Meng aura and control it better. Of course, at this moment, if Long Kun raised his realm to the Hong Meng Tianjing realm, then it was obvious that Long Kun would be able to use the Hong Meng Tianjing realm to control the Hong Meng aura, which was much stronger than the Hong Meng aura. At this moment, Long Mu obviously knew the urgency of the situation. Therefore, Long Mu did not care about the Hong Meng aura that was bursting out from the Dragon Lake. The Hong Meng aura that was bursting out from his entire body was supported by the Hong Meng aura behind him. The Hong Meng aura was very powerful. In an instant it rose a little. Long Mu used the Hong Meng aura to rise up, and in the span of a few breaths, his entire body became one with the Hong Meng aura. Using himself as a medium, he heavily charged towards Long Kun in the distance. No matter how much Long Kun calculated, he would never have thought that Long Mu would risk his life like this. The Hong Meng aura in the 9 heavens firmament connected the heavens and the earth. It was a Hong Meng aura that was condensed from the cultivator's own Hong Meng aura. The Hong Meng aura within the Hong Meng aura was 10 times stronger than the Hong Meng aura within a person's body. For example, Long Mu was using himself as a medium. As a medium, he could connect with the Hong Meng aura to unleash an attack. If he was successful, it would be fine. However, if he was not careful, or if his attack was blocked by Long Kun, then Long Mu would explode from the backlash of the Hong Meng aura. Chapter 2026. The Dragon Tomb's body began to tremble as the primordial inferno gushed out. The bloodline power wrapped around its body rose into several violent hurricanes that could spread over the Dragon Lake. Vaguely, it was as if there were 2 mighty heaven-shaking tornadoes. The 2 huge dragons on the ground released an unparalleled aura as they charged towards Long Kun. Boom boom! In an instant, the sky changed color. Long Mu's series of moves were too fast. When the 2 huge dragons landed on Long Kun's body and dispersed the Hong Meng's aura behind Long Kun had not thought of a way to deal with it. If Long Kun was able to withstand this attack, then Long Mu would have to bear it himself because he had nowhere to release the energy contained in the 2 huge dragons. At this moment, the dispersed Hong Meng's aura would be behind Long Mu. Long Kun's body retreated rapidly, almost retreating to the shore of the Dragon Lake. I never thought that Long Mu's strength would be so strong. Even when facing Long Kun, he is not at a disadvantage. This is because Long Mu's strength is inferior to Long Kun's. If Long Mu's strength was restored to its original state, there might not even be a need for this battle. That's right. It looks like having Long Mu as our clan leader is a great blessing for our dragon tribe. When the discussions of the dragon tribe members by the shore reached Long Kun's ears, his expression suddenly became extremely cold. His eyes could not help but release a killing intent that was completely different from before. So what if you are the son of Tao ancestor Long Meng? Back then, Tao ancestor Long Meng was tricked by my brother. In the end, didn't he lose his life? If it was 100,000 years later, the entire dragon tribe would have been tricked by me as well. Long Kun roared angrily in his heart. A terrifying aura spread out from Long Kun's expression, and his entire person became extremely cold in an instant. After tens of thousands of years of concealment, it had finally devoured the most outstanding member of the dragon clan, bit by bit, without anyone noticing. Furthermore, it had successfully taken control of Long Kun's body, just like the ancestor of the sky dragon 100,000 years ago. Long Kun was already no longer the Long Kun tens of thousands of years ago. Since then, Long Kun, who was controlled by others, had been cultivating crazily. Finally, he had managed to raise his strength to level 9 Hong Meng Tianjing. Just as he was about to the clan leader's position, he was about to become the clan leader of the dragon tribe. Long Mu's sudden appearance had messed up all of Long Kun's. In the beginning, Long Kun felt that a primordial realm level dragon tomb was not enough to pose a threat to him. However, Long Kun never imagined that in a short 5 years, the dragon tomb that he had met at the beginning, which was only at the primordial realm level, would rise in strength. She had reached the 7th level of Hong Meng Tianjing. This rapid increase in strength caused Long Kun to feel an unprecedented pressure. Long Kun would never allow such a thing to happen. However, in the dragon tribe, he still needed the help of the dragon tribe for his future plans. Thus, Long Kun could not directly kill Long Mu. He could only choose to observe Long Mu bit by bit grow up. And now, since Long Mu had become an unshakable threat to Long Kun's plans, Long Kun had no choice but to speed up his plans. Ever since then, Long Kun had woken up a few of the Dragon Clan's elders who were still in hibernation. When they had woken up, Long Kun had tried his best to tell them about the Dragon Clan's plans. This had caused the Dragon Clan's elders to quickly come to a decision. The Dragon Clan was going to elect the next clan leader. Naturally, Long Kun, who was the strongest among the younger generation of the Dragon Clan, would be the first choice of the elders. However, due to the rapid increase in strength of Long Mu, in addition to his exceptional status, Long Mu was publicly acknowledged as the next clan leader by some of the elders. This caused Long Kun to be furious. Thus, under these circumstances, Long Kun placed more importance on this competition than anything else. Although it would not directly affect who would be the next clan leader, as long as he could defeat Long Mu in this competition, Long Kun would be able to obtain the support of the younger generation of the Dragon Clan. The support of the younger generation. With the support of the Dragon Clan, this was more important than anything else. However, Long Kun had never expected that in this battle, which he thought he would definitely win, he would be temporarily defeated by Long Mu. Furthermore, he was defeated by Long Mu, who was at the 7th level of Hong Meng Tianjing. Long Kun could not tolerate this. He wanted revenge. Since the battle had already begun, there was no way that it would end so easily. At this moment, Long Kun had quietly changed his opinion of this battle. He felt that if they were to defeat Long Mu, they would only be able to gain more support from their clansmen. Since this support could be obtained so easily, it was natural that they would do so. Long Kun didn't want it to dissipate so easily. For the sake of what Long Kun wanted to do the most, what Long Kun wanted to do next was a little crazy. After killing Long Mu, even if Long Kun would be severely punished by the elders of the Dragon Clan, what was done could not be undone. If he wanted to find another clan leader from the Dragon Clan, other than Long Kun, there was no one else. A blood-red color flashed across Long Kun's eyes. A dense killing intent spread out in all directions. In the blink of an eye, a strong gust of wind was emitted from Long Kun's body. The thick aura of Hong Meng surged forward layer by layer. At this moment, Long Kun no longer suppressed his cultivation level. Instead, he revealed all of his cultivation level. Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 9. Since you managed to keep your life, you should drag out an ignoble existence over there. In this life, you are still so arrogant. Don't blame me for sending you on your way. Long Kuen's aura of Hong Meng rose, and he returned to the center of the Dragon Lake. He was facing Long Mu, who had just calmed down the Hong Meng clan. Long Mu could feel the aura of Hong Meng from Long Kuen's body. His huge Dragon Clan true body could not help but tremble. He said, "You are going to use your full strength so soon? I really did not expect this." Long Kuen laughed coldly and said, "Other than you and me, who else can know what I have done? You must know that dead people will never be able to speak." Long Mu's aura slowly condensed and he said, "Then I will refute you. I was a dead person in the past. However, it is different from what you said. Right now, not only am I able to speak, I am also able to beat you back. In fact, I am even able to beat you back. I can even trample you under my feet. I want you to know that your choice to return to the Long Meng Grotto Heaven was the biggest mistake you have made since you were reborn." Long Kuen roared. Chapter 2027. The moment he finished speaking, Long Kuen sneered. The surrounding Hong Meng aura suddenly rose. Soon after, Long Kuen's body disappeared. In just an instant, an Earth Dragon true body appeared. In this way, there were 2 dragon true bodies above the Dragon Lake. The Dragon Clan's bloodline pressure that could shake the heavens and earth poured down. The entire Dragon Lake started to churn violently at this moment. A vast Hong Meng aura surged out from the Dragon Lake. In just a few breaths' time, it gathered into a chaotic golden light screen. Within the light screen, there were shock waves that seemed to connect to the earth. Layers upon layers of shock waves surged out. It pushed forward as if it wanted to destroy the heavens. Quang quang! Numerous pure Hong Meng energy waves exploded above the Dragon Lake. From the golden light screen that Long Kuen had gathered, numerous invading energies suddenly shot out. These invading energies flashed with a dazzling golden light as they attacked the heavens. At this moment, the golden light seemed to have become the main color of the Dragon Lake. At the same time, as the golden light shone brightly, the golden light screen also continued to expand. Facing such a vast attack, Long Mu did not dare to relax. He immediately circulated his Hong Meng aura to the maximum. The Hong Meng aura behind him connected to the heavens and water. Within a few breaths' time, it had gathered into a ball of energy that was filled with killing intent. It was used to defend against the mysterious golden light screen. Long Kuen probably did not intend to give the dragon's tomb too much time to prepare. After all, he had already unleashed all of his strength. If this battle was witnessed by the other elders of the dragon tribe, they would definitely step out to stop the battle. If that happened, Long Kuen's last-minute plan would be ruined. Therefore, Long Kuen had to end this battle quickly. In the blink of an eye, the golden light screen of the Long Kuen imperial decree mercilessly shot towards the dragon tomb. During this period of time, the golden energy that was emitted directly split the entire Dragon Lake apart. For a few moments, the people of the dragon tribe who were watching the battle on the shore were all stunned. They could actually see the bottom of the Dragon Lake. Long Mu's expression was one of shock. He hurriedly activated the Hong Meng flames behind him and charged towards Long Kuen. Long Mu knew that with his current strength of Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 7, it was almost impossible for him to defeat Long Kuen, who had unleashed his full strength. Therefore, Long Mu had to drag this battle out until the elders of the Dragon Clan noticed this battle. There was something wrong with the strength and realm of both sides of the battle, so they had to intervene. Otherwise, Long Mu would have lost his life in the Dragon Lake after taking 10 blows from Long Kuen. Between Hong Meng Tianjing's 7th layer and Hong Meng Tianjing's 9th layer, there were 2 huge gaps. Bang! The 2 vast Hong Meng auras collided. The space above the Dragon Lake immediately cracked, as if the entire space was being torn apart. Before either side's aura could show any signs of weakness, in an instant, an earth-shattering sound reverberated in the air above the Dragon Lake. An earth-shaking primordial roar rang out from the Dragon Lake, instantly invading the entire Long Meng paradise. This huge commotion was not intentionally caused by Long Kuan. On the contrary, Long Mu would rather forcefully sacrifice a portion of his Hong Meng energy in order to create a Hong Meng shockwave. No matter what, he had to let the elders of the Dragon Clan know about the current situation. Long Yuan, who was on the shore, was still in a state of confusion. As he was too far away from the battlefield, and Long Yuan's Hong Meng Tianjing's fifth layer strength, he was unable to predict Long Kuan's strength. Therefore, Long Yuan and the majority of the people on the shore did not realize that Long Kuan had raised his strength to Hong Meng Tianjing's ninth layer. Right now, they were still clapping and cheering for this great battle. They would never have thought that Long Mu, whom they had high hopes for, was on the verge of defeat. Long Mu's defeat meant that Long Mu was likely to die in Long Kuan's hands. In his hands, the two auras above the Dragon Lake still did not have an absolute advantage. However, after a few breaths of time, Long Mu's side was showing signs of being unable to hold on. After all, Long Mu's Hong Meng Heavenly Paradise was at the seventh layer. Even if he pushed his strength to the limit, he would still not be able to match up to Long Kuan, who was at Hong Meng Tianjing's ninth layer. Swoosh, swoosh. Just at this moment, the golden balls of air that had gushed out from Long Kuan's golden light screen actually started to gather above the Dragon Lake when the two forces were in a deadlock. At the start, it was just an insignificant amount of energy. However, as time passed, the golden balls of air that had gushed out from Long Kuan's golden light screen started to gather above the Dragon Lake. However, it was just a small amount of energy. As more and more golden balls of gas gathered, the energy contained within them also increased. After a few breaths of time, the golden balls of gas that had been formed later on already had the strength of a golden light screen. This was not good news for Long Mu, who was in a stalemate. Soon after, when the golden ball of light had enough strength, it blasted towards the point where the two forces intersected in less than a moment. Bang! With the participation of the golden balls of gas, the stalemate between Long Kuan and Long Mu was immediately broken. Furthermore, once the stalemate was broken, Long Kuan, who was in an advantageous position, took the opportunity to send out multiple Hong Meng Chi attacks. It was as if he was beating a dog that had fallen into the water. He rushed towards Long Mu, who had no choice but to retreat. Numerous cracks immediately appeared on the Hong Meng Chi behind Long Mu. The energy that was originally stable and connected to the heavens and the water suddenly dissipated. Following Long Kuan's attack, the Hong Meng Chi around Long Kuan's body once again bombarded the Hong Meng Chi. This caused the already unstable Hong Meng Chi to become even more unstable. Clang! The vast Hong Meng Chi shattered. Even Long Mu was unable to maintain the normal operation of the Hong Meng Chi behind him. Under Long Kuan's attack, the Hong Meng Chi finally shattered completely. At this moment, the majestic energy that connected the heavens and the water shattered completely in front of all the Dragon Clan cultivators on the shore. The Hong Meng Chi that was contained within also gradually returned to the Dragon Lake that had once given Long Mu immense power. From the perspective of the Dragon Clan cultivators on the shore, this situation was at most a temporary stalemate. After all, Long Mu had previously shattered Long Kuan's Hong Meng Chi. What followed should be an even more intense battle. However, what these people did not know was that Long Kuan's Hong Meng Chi was not all of Long Kuan's energy. Long Mu's Hong Meng Chi was Long Mu's blood, sweat, and tears. Chapter 2028. Rumble. Under the seemingly endless Hong Meng, Long Kuan controlled the Hong Meng aura around him and tore apart the Hong Meng aura that was connected to Long Mu's mind. In that instant, just as the Hong Meng aura within the Hong Meng aura was about to return to the Dragon Lake, Long Mu furrowed his brows as he felt a trace of aura that shocked him. Within Long Kuan's Hong Meng aura, not only did it contain the pure Hong Meng aura, It also contained a power that caused even someone of Long Mu's level to feel conflicted. To be able to cause Long Mu to feel conflicted, it wasn't because this power was weak. It was because this power was something that Long Mu had never seen before. It was simply too strong. It wasn't the power of Hong Meng, nor was it the power of the Divine Spirit. The strange aura that was displayed by Long Kuan was much stronger than any aura that Long Mu had ever seen before. At this moment, Long Mu didn't have much time to think. However, since things had already developed to this point, if he wanted to blame someone, he could only blame himself for not understanding Long Kuan better. Originally, he thought that Long Kuan was just a pure descendant of the Dragon Clan who had decent talent and a hard-working attitude towards cultivation. However, he didn't expect that Long Kuan himself had some secrets that no one knew about. After the Hong Meng aura was destroyed, Long Mu expended a lot of energy to escape from Long Kuan's Hong Meng aura. However, this didn't mean that the battle was over. As of now, Long Mu had completely lost the battle between Long Mu and Long Kuan. However, this wasn't something to be proud of. After all, Long Mu's opponent was Long Kuan, who was at Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 9. If Long Kuan had followed the original plan of the battle and maintained his cultivation of Stage 7 Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 9, even Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 7. Meng Qi was at the peak of the 7th level of the Heaven Realm, so Long Mu had the ability to fight him. At the very least, he wouldn't lose so badly. However, Long Mu's strength was in the 7th stage of Hong Meng Tianjing. Even a person in the 8th stage of Hong Meng Tianjing would find it difficult to compete with him, let alone a person in the 9th stage of Hong Meng Tianjing. However, at this moment, Long Mu could tell that after Long Kuan betrayed him, he had the intention to kill him. The current situation was that Long Mu could either defeat Long Kuan or escape. After careful consideration, Long Mu felt that since they were already in this kind of situation, the chance of escape was almost zero. The two of them chose to fight in the center of the Dragon Lake, which was quite a distance away from the shore of the Dragon Lake. It was about the same. If Long Mu at full speed, it would take at least 10 breaths of time. However, Long Kuan, who was determined to kill Long Mu, obviously wouldn't give Long Mu the time of 10 breaths. Perhaps, even if Long Mu could buy himself a few breaths of time, Long Kuan, who was chasing after Long Mu, might do something extreme. At that time, Long Mu, who was focused on escaping, wouldn't have the time to care about what was behind him. He wouldn't die in vain. Fight! After observing the situation clearly, Long Mu shouted excitedly. He immediately gathered the aura of Hong Meng that was slipping away from him. Perhaps a miracle would happen? Long Mu thought. Numerous rays of light condensed behind Long Mu's back. The fluctuation of Hong Meng's aura was greatly reduced. However, the energy produced by each fluctuation caused the pressure of Hong Meng's aura around Long Mu to become stronger. Long Mu suddenly turned around, his eyes filled with a cold chill. A cold intent flashed across his eyes, following which, he pushed both his fists forward. Numerous streaks of light gathered at the center of his fists to form a vast primordial windstorm. This windstorm charged towards Long Kuan, who was enveloped by the primordial windstorm. Seeing this scene, Long Kuan, who was chasing Long Mu, couldn't help but be overjoyed. In Long Kuan's eyes, as long as Long Mu chose not to escape, then Long Mu would be a dead man. Long Kuan even said that he was already thinking of how to explain this matter to those furious elders. Accidentally injuring Long Mu due to a moment of carelessness? Although the reason was a little ridiculous, and the elders might see through it. However, so what? After Long Mu's death, among the younger generation of the Dragon Clan, other than Long Kuan, who else could be the clan leader? Dong. The steady and powerful sound of the collision reverberated above the Dragon Lake. A shockwave that directly lifted the entire Dragon Lake abruptly spread out. The primordial explosion generated by it swept across the horizon as if it was going to tear the sky apart. The water of the Dragon Lake condensed into the purest Hong Meng's energy at this moment. At the point where the two forces collided, it started to swirl crazily. A huge dragon clan's true body shot out from the point of collision, wreaking havoc as it charged towards the bottom of the Dragon Lake, which had already dried up. Bang! Long Mu's figure fell onto the Dragon Lake. The Hong Meng's aura around him weakened and dissipated. In the previous exchange of blows, Long Kuan had once again gained the upper hand. Long Mu was only at a slight disadvantage. At least, that was what the people on the shore thought. However, the current situation was that Long Mu was already on the verge of death. When the Hong Meng's aura was destroyed, Long Mu's strength had been forcefully reduced by more than half. In order to survive, he only used the last of his Hong Meng's aura when he clashed with Long Kuan again. Even so, Long Mu was still not a match for Long Kuan, who was charging forward courageously. Although he had already expected this outcome, when it really happened, Long Mu was more or less disappointed. If he could reconstruct his physical body a few years earlier, he would not have such a hard time facing Long Kuan. At the same time, Long Kuan, who was floating above Long Mu, looked at the severely injured Long Mu lying at the bottom of the Dragon Lake. He could not help but sneer as the aura of Hong Meng gathered around him. Long Kuan wanted to deal a fatal blow to Long Mu. How could the Dragon clan members on the shore of the Dragon Lake know what Long Kuan was thinking? All of them were still wondering if Long Kuan had used the 9th level of the Hong Meng Tianjing. From their point of view, a battle between a 7th level of the Hong Meng Tianjing shouldn't be so intense. It shouldn't be so powerful. The Dragon clan members did not expect that Long Kuan's eyes were already filled with killing intent. A ray of golden light pierced through the entire Dragon Lake. It contained an incomparably dense amount of Hong Meng's aura. At the same time, it was mixed with the aura that had previously caused Long Mu to be suspicious. With the addition of this aura, the golden light became even more resplendent and dazzling. Who would have thought that the Earth Dragon Long Kuan, one of the best in the younger generation of the Dragon clan, actually came from the Origin continent? At this moment, a clear voice sounded from the horizon. Chapter 2029. Long Chun? When this voice rang out above the Dragon Lake, Long Mu's pale face immediately glowed with excitement. On the shore of the Dragon Lake, Long Yuan, who was worried about Long Mu, finally heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this voice. As long as his master was here, Long Yuan felt that this matter would not be difficult to handle. Of course, because Long Mu and Long Yuan were very familiar with this voice, they naturally knew that the person who had come was Long Chun. Hence, they did not pay much attention to what Long Chun had said. Or it could be said that many people had never heard of the Origin continent before. Hence, they did not understand what Long Chun was talking about. However, there were some people who were different. As the voice rang out, Long Kuan, who was already prepared, could not help but look towards the horizon. He wanted to find out who it was. The moment he opened his mouth, he said something that no one else other than Long Kuan knew about in the past tens of millions of years. Love. That was Long Kuan's secret. Who was it? Long Kuan's expression froze as he coldly shouted towards the horizon. The Dragon tribe cultivators on the shore of the Dragon Lake also looked at each other. They raised their heads and looked towards the horizon, but they did not see anyone. Swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, on the other side of the Dragon Lake, in the almost illusory horizon, a light figure flashed. After a short pause, it rushed towards the battlefield. When this light figure stopped in front of everyone's eyes, the cultivators who were watching the battle on the shore of the Dragon Lake still looked at each other in dismay. It could be said that they knew nothing about Long Chun. Furthermore, after Long Chun entered the Long Meng Utopia, he did not meet anyone. He followed Long Mu to the Nether Cold Valley in a hurry. Only now did he appear. Soon after Long Chun stabilized his body, over a dozen figures appeared on the shore of the Dragon Lake. If one were to take a closer look, these people who had appeared possessed a unique and steady aura. Moreover, the Hong Meng aura around them was also extremely dense. Long Chen frowned. If he guessed correctly, these people should be the current elders of the dragon tribe. Sure enough, just as Long Chen had guessed, when the dragon clan members who were watching the battle on the shore saw the appearance of these dozen people, they immediately bowed to the dozen figures and respectfully handed over the elders' words. At this time, a kind-looking cultivator wearing a blue robe sensed the primordial energy released by Long Kun above the dragon lake. He couldn't help but frown as he spoke to an elder beside him with a slightly surprised expression. Elder Long Kun. Elder Yen Long, that Long Kun, actually used the 9th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing to compete with Long Mu? The cultivator called Elder Yen Long nodded helplessly and said, "Go and see how Long Mu is doing. My dragon clan has been peaceful in this Long Meng grotto heaven for tens of thousands of years. Today is probably a turning point." The blue-robed elder hurriedly flew up and rushed towards the dragon lake. This scene was something that Long Kun did not expect. Originally, if not for Long Chen's roar, Long Mu would have been a dead man. But now, because of Long Chen's roar, not only did it divert his attention, allowing Long Mu to survive, but it also attracted the attention of the elders of the dragon tribe. In this way, if Long Kun still wanted to kill the heavily injured Long Mu in one strike, he would have to take into account more than just a few dragon clan members who did not understand the situation. When the blue-robed elder's figure flew into the dragon lake, Long Kun finally confirmed that his plan was completely messed up. And the source of this was Long Chen, who had let out a loud roar. "Elder Hai Long, when I was sparring with Long Mu, I was careless and did not control my strength." At this time, Long Kun had no choice but to say a few polite words to the blue-robed elder. The blue-robed elder, who was called Hai Long, stared coldly at Long Kun. Without saying anything, he hurriedly flew to the bottom of the dragon lake and brought Long Mu, who was lying on the ground and relying on the last bit of Hong Meng's aura to maintain the dragon lake's normal operation, out of the dragon lake. Among the elders of the dragon tribe, since there were those who sided with Long Mu, naturally there were also those who sided with Long Kun. When these elders saw this scene, although they did not show much emotion on the surface, they were very happy to see this happen. As long as Long Mu died, Long Kun would be able to smoothly sit on the dragon tribe leader's seat. Very quickly, someone came to Elder Yen Long's side and said, "Elder Yen Long, when Long Kun and Long Mu were sparring, we were also present. This sparring is not considered to be a competition that can decide who the dragon tribe leader's seat belongs to. In the end, this is just a sparring competition between two juniors. The most important thing now is to find out the purpose of this uninvited guest's visit to Long Meng Grotto Heaven." Elder Hai Long, who had helped Long Mu settle down, stared coldly at the elder who spoke and said angrily, "Elder Mu Long, it's easy for you to say that while standing there. Long Mu is on the verge of death now. How can this still be considered an ordinary sparring competition?" The elder who was called Mu Long by Elder Hai Long did not lose his imposing manner and replied, "Elder Hai Long, this matter is this matter. It's inevitable that there will be injuries in sparring competitions. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame Long Mu for his lack of strength. Since he dared to agree to this sparring competition, then he naturally had to be prepared for what would happen now. Furthermore, no matter what, Long Kun and Long Mu are both members of the dragon tribe. Even if there is some enmity between us, it is for the sake of the dragon tribe's development. Since Tian is so arrogant, shouldn't he be the first to deal with him?" Elder Hai Long was just about to reply when Long Mu, who was lying beside Elder Hai Long, grabbed Elder Hai Long's wrist and made a silent expression on his extremely weak face. Elder Hai Long looked coldly at Elder Mu Long, his expression not hiding the slightest bit of resentment. At this time, Long Yuan, who was watching from the side of the dragon lake, ran over. Seeing the heavily injured Long Mu lying on the ground, he could not help but feel anger in his heart. He immediately made a posture as if he wanted to charge towards Long Quan, who was above the dragon lake. Elder Hai Long shouted, "Long Yuan, come back!" Long Yuan stopped and looked towards Long Chen. Long Chen made a hand gesture to Long Yuan, and Long Yuan could only obediently stay by the shore. At this time, Elder Yen Long, who had been silent for a long time, saw that the situation above the dragon lake had stabilized slightly and finally opened his mouth. "Friend whom I have never met before, this old man sensed that you also have the blood of the dragon tribe in your body. Who are you exactly?" Chapter 20:30. As soon as Elder Yen Long spoke, the situation around the dragon lake immediately stabilized. Long Chen did not have much intention to delve into Elder Yen Long's words. Now that Long Mu was seriously injured and could not speak, it would probably take a long time for Long Yuan to explain. As for what Long Chen had to do next, there were many variables. There were too many variables. After Long Chen successfully awakened Ancestor Ice Dragon, the two left the Nether Cold Valley and rushed towards the Dragon Lake. On the way, Ancestor Ice Dragon suddenly felt that something was wrong and told Long Chen his doubts. Ancestor Ice Dragon meant that although Long Chen's spirit could destroy the stranger's consciousness, it was definitely not as simple as Long Chen said. At first, Ancestor Ice Dragon thought that it was the exhaustion of tens of thousands of years that caused the stranger's consciousness to be on the verge of collapse. His consciousness was already on the verge of collapse, and he was only one step away from dissipating from this world. However, when he thought about it carefully, since the Outlander's consciousness was attached to the domain pearl, how could it be consumed? This was a self-contradictory statement, and in Ancestor Ice Dragon's subjective consciousness, it was a problem that could not be ignored. After Long Chen heard this, he boldly made a few guesses and said a few ideas. Either that, or the Outlander's consciousness had long dissipated and never existed in the first place. Either that, or the true Outlanders had already left the Domain Pearl, the Netherworld Cold Valley, and the Dragon Meng Paradise. After this reminder, the Ice Dragon ancestor pondered for a while and felt that if the stranger still had consciousness, it was very likely that he had already possessed a dragon clan member like the Sky Dragon ancestor 100,000 years ago. Long Chen more or less agreed with this statement. Hence, after that, the two of them sped up as they rushed towards the Dragon Lake where the dragon tribe gathered. When Long Chen arrived at the Dragon Lake, the battle between Long Mu and Long Quan had reached a critical juncture. Long Chen observed carefully and naturally knew that Long Mu was on the verge of defeat. However, due to Long Chen's own cultivation, even if he wanted to help, under the deterrence of Long Quan's 9th level of Hong Meng Tianjing, Long Chen did not choose to act rashly. Long Chen was waiting for a turning point, and as expected, Long Chen waited for it. When Long Quan wanted to kill Long Mu, Hong Meng's aura was mixed with a power that did not belong to Hong Meng. If Long Chen, who had never been to the Nether Cold Valley, sensed this power, he probably would not have any other thoughts. However, when Long Chen sensed this power, he immediately turned around. This power was the power that Long Chen saw in the Nether Cold Valley, the power that was released by the Pearl of Domain. From Long Chen's point of view, a normal member of the Dragon Clan would definitely not possess such a power. Furthermore, even Ancestor Ice Dragon could only resist the power of the Pearl of Domain, but could not make it his own. However, Long Quan was actually able to do it? Perhaps there was only one explanation, and that was the conclusion that Ancestor Ice Dragon had reached. The current Long Quan had already been possessed by the stranger, and the real Long Quan might have died tens of thousands of years ago. This was why Long Chen shouted those words in order to save Long Mu's life. At the end of the day, Long Chen only had suspicions at that time. Other than the power that he sensed, he did not have any other evidence. However, if Long Chen wanted to save Long Mu's life, perhaps that was the only way. Fortunately, Long Chen was always able to win when it came to major matters that he was uncertain about. When Long Chen saw Long Kuen's nervous reaction, Long Chen was sure that Long Kuen was a stranger. Like Ancestor Sky Dragon and the demonic spirits, he came from the unknown origin continent. Although he did not know why this stranger wanted to fight with Long Mu for the position of the Dragon Clan leader, as long as it would endanger Long Mu's life, Long Chen would definitely not agree. On the other side, Elder Yen Long looked at Long Chen for a long time and did not receive a reply. He asked again, "This friend, I don't know what is the origin continent that you mentioned before. What is it?" Long Chen was also a little dizzy because of this. Elder Yen Long, shouldn't the current matter be to clarify the competition between the Dragon's Tomb and Long Kuen? Why did he have to target him? Another thing that made Long Chen extremely unhappy was that Ancestor Ice Dragon, who came here with him, was nowhere to be seen. The two of them were together at the beginning, but after Long Chen saw the competition between Long Mu and Long Kuen, they could not find each other anymore. Ancestor Ice Dragon was nowhere to be seen. "I saved you with great difficulty, and this is how you repay me?" Long Chen was furious and frowned. "You Dragon Clan elders are useless. Don't you know what is the most important thing now?" Long Mu was heavily injured, and Long Kuen used his Hong Meng Tian Jing 9th stage cultivation to suppress him. "Bullying others, don't you plan to do something about it? Could it be that in this Long Meng paradise, the weak are prey to the strong?" As soon as he finished speaking, the Dragon Clan people on the shore of the Dragon Lake were stunned. They were all thinking, where did this person come from? How dare he speak to Elder Yen Long like this? It must be known that the elders of the Dragon Clan were all Hong Meng Tian Jing 9th stage. Elder Yen Long heard this and frowned, but he did not say anything. And that Elder Mu Long did open his mouth to curse. He said angrily, "Where did this reckless guy come from? How dare he cause trouble in Long Meng Paradise? He is really reckless." As soon as he said this, Elder Mu Long's expression changed. Hong Meng gathered around him, and his palm contained a strong aura. Once he accumulated power, a vigorous Hong Meng Qi was released, and without any explanation, it attacked Long Chen. Long Chen felt a headache. It was not because Long Chen could not withstand Elder Mu Long's attack, but because at this moment beside Long Chen, there was Long Kuen, who was eyeing him covetously. Perhaps in order to hide something, Long Kuen would directly kill Long Chen when he was facing the Dragon Clan's general condemnation. Long Chen's Hong Meng Tian Jing 9th stage cultivation, in Long Kuen's eyes, he was really just an ant. Bang! Just as Elder Mu Long's attack reached the Dragon Lake, an awe-inspiring primordial aura suddenly appeared in the surroundings. Accompanied by the pressure of this aura, the entire Dragon Lake shook a few times. In an instant, Elder Mu Long's attack froze into a block of ice and fell into the Dragon Lake, disappearing without a trace. Chapter 2031. At the same time, an icy aura was emitted from the surroundings of the Dragon Lake. A voice that caused people to feel a chill in their hearts rang out, causing everyone present to tremble in fear. "Are all the current elders of the dragon tribe so impatient?" A majestic figure slowly descended from the Dragon Lake after the voice sounded. It was a silver-robed old man with white hair. The expressions of the elders present suddenly changed when they saw the gray-haired old man. "Ancestor Ice Dragon?" Elder Yen Long muttered. Elder Yen Long bowed and said in a loud voice, "Congratulations on coming out of seclusion, Ancestor Ice Dragon." When the members of the Dragon tribe, who were still unaware of the situation, heard Elder Yen Long's words, they followed Elder Yen Long and bowed to the silver-robed elder above the Dragon Lake. Elder Mu Long, who was reprimanded by Ancestor Ice Dragon, had no choice but to follow suit and bow to Ancestor Ice Dragon. Currently, there were two types of elders of the Dragon tribe in the Long Meng Utopia. One type was like the Flame Dragon Elder, the Wood Dragon Elder, and the Sea Dragon Elder, who were lucky enough to survive in the Long Meng Grotto Heaven after the Great War and were spared from the battle. Because these people were still considered strong, they also established a foundation for the survival of the dragon clan in the future. Because of their contributions, they were elected as elders of the dragon tribe. These elders belonged to the later generations of the dragon tribe. As for the other type, there were only two in the entire Longmeng Utopia. One was Wind Dragon, who guarded the Longmeng Utopia, and the other was Ancestor Ice Dragon, who had appeared now. Before that great battle, these two were the Dragon Clan elders who were deeply popular among the entire Dragon Clan. In the battle 100,000 years ago, both the Wind Dragon and the Ice Dragon ancestors had participated. At the end of the battle, these two were supposed to follow Dao Ancestor Longmeng there. However, at that time, Dao Ancestor Longmeng seemed to have foreseen something and asked Ancestor Ice Dragon and Wind Dragon to rush back. This allowed the Wind Dragon and the Ice Dragon ancestor to survive the great battle and become the only two surviving dragon ancestor elders in the Longmeng Utopia. For the entire Longmeng Paradise, Wind Dragon was a guardian. Since Wind Dragon dragged Longmeng Paradise to the sky above the Longmeng Polar region, the dragons in Longmeng Paradise were able to escape from the human cultivators in the three polar regions. After recovering from the endless pursuit, Wind Dragon had remained outside Longmeng Paradise. He had not taken even half a step into Longmeng Paradise since the beginning. Even so, the entire Dragon Clan respected the Wind Dragon from the bottom of their hearts. The other was the Ice Dragon ancestor. Although he had spent the past tens of thousands of years in hibernation, his contributions to the Longmeng Utopia and the Dragon Clan were not comparable to ordinary people. Before the Wind Dragon completed that feat, every time the Longmeng Polar region suffered a crisis, when the dragons of the Longmeng Polar region could not hold on any longer, it was the Ice Dragon ancestor who stepped forward bravely. He would rather let his injuries expand and recur again and again. He wanted to protect the continuation of the entire Dragon Clan. How many bloody battles, how many scars, and finally preserved the integrity of Longmeng Paradise. The Ice Dragon ancestor did not hesitate to lose his strength as the price, which gave the Wind Dragon enough time to complete that feat. It could be said that the contributions of the Ice Dragon ancestor and the Wind Dragon ancestor to the Longmeng Paradise were perhaps not comparable to that of the entire Dragon Clan. After that, the Ice Dragon ancestor went into hibernation and did not wake up for tens of thousands of years. Those who could remember the story of the Ice Dragon ancestor and the Wind Dragon were probably only these dozen or so elders left. The other clansmen might have heard of it from the elders, but there were some things that they didn't personally experience, so they were just rumors. He could not sigh with emotion. Among the crowd who bowed to the Ice Dragon ancestor, there was a person standing proudly. Although his face was a little pale at this moment, it just showed the joy in his heart at the appearance of the Ice Dragon ancestor. Long Mu's face trembled slightly as he looked at the silver-clothed Ice Dragon ancestor. His eyes flickered slightly. The Ice Dragon ancestor was the first person that Long Mu was familiar with after coming to Longmeng Grotto Heaven. Long Mu only had an impression of the Wind Dragon who helped Longmeng Paradise, but they did not have much interaction after all. And this Ice Dragon ancestor had watched Long Mu grow up 100,000 years ago, and had personally taught Long Mu for a period of time. Uncle Bing. Long Mu pursed his lips and slowly said. The Ice Dragon ancestor in the distance naturally could not hear this sentence. It could even be said that the Ice Dragon ancestor did not notice Long Mu's existence in that crowd. Although he had heard about Long Mu's experience from Long Chen, at this moment, the Ice Dragon ancestor did not care. The Ice Dragon ancestor did not care about this. Above the Dragon Lake, when Long Kuan saw this scene, his expression twitched a few times. He had no choice but to follow the actions of his clansmen on the shore and obediently bow to the Ice Dragon ancestor. The Ice Dragon ancestor shook his head and looked at Long Chen. Long Chen quickly pointed in a direction to the Ice Dragon ancestor. The ice dragon ancestor looked over and immediately saw the excited Long Mu. The ice dragon ancestor smiled with relief and said to Long Mu, "It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back." Hearing this, Long Mu nodded heavily and smiled knowingly. Then, the ice dragon ancestor looked at Elder Yen Long on the other side and said sternly, "Yen Long, in the tens of thousands of years that I was not around, is this how you managed Long Meng Paradise? Ice dragon ancestor?" Elder Yen Long was stunned and did not react for a moment. He quickly asked, "I don't know what ancestor is talking about. Yen Long has been responsible for the matters of the dragon tribe for the past tens of thousands of years, and has not slacked in any way." The ice dragon ancestor let out a long sigh and said, 10,000 years ago, when I was sleeping, I told you the real reason why my dragon clan and the 3 great polar regions were fighting. Naturally, you also know about the 3 outlanders who harmed my dragon clan. Now, the foreigners are right under your nose, but you don't know anything about them? What? Elder Yen Long's expression was incomparably shocked when he heard these words. This kind of thing was simply too unbelievable. Other than Elder Yen Long, some of the other elders could still understand what the ice dragon ancestor was saying. However, the other elders were confused and did not know what to say. In the past tens of thousands of years, it was not that I did not wake up. When I was hibernating, I was attacked by these foreigners and was forced to sleep for tens of thousands of years. If Long Chern had not woken me up today, I probably would not have woken up in this lifetime. The ice dragon ancestor sighed. Chapter 2032. As soon as he finished speaking, Elder Yen Long's expression changed abruptly. The elders and clansmen around him were also shocked. Long Mu let out a long sigh. Even Long Mu didn't expect things to turn out this way. Elder Yen Long's face trembled slightly as he asked fearfully, "Ancestor, where is the outlander who trapped you now?" Upon hearing this, Long Chen, who was floating above the dragon lake, snorted coldly and said, "He's far away, but he's right in front of us. Just like Ancestor Sky Dragon 100,000 years ago, that outlander's control over the consciousness of living beings is not something we can control." This time, Elder Yen Long wasn't angry at Long Chen's sudden interruption. Instead, he put on a friendly face and asked Long Chen, "May I know, how did you come to the Long Meng Polar region?" Long Chen couldn't be bothered with Elder Yen Long's sudden change in attitude. He nodded perfunctorily and said, "My name is Long Chen. A few years ago, I was the one who helped Long Mu reconstruct his physical body. This time, I received Tong Mu's invitation. I came to the Long Meng Polar region." As soon as he said that, the Dragon Clan's clansmen on the shore looked at Long Chen with friendliness. Upon hearing this, Long Mu, who was on the shore of the Dragon Lake, smiled slightly. Long Yuan had already come to Long Mu's side and took out some elixirs to help Long Mu heal his injuries. Ancestor Ice Dragon said slowly, "Young friend Long Chen is resolute in his actions. Although his cultivation realm is not good, his foresight and experience are top-notch. Furthermore, he has the bloodline of our dragon tribe and can be considered a member of our dragon tribe." Long Chen didn't take Ancestor Ice Dragon's praise to heart. At this moment, Long Chen began to focus on Long Kuan, who was not far away. Since they had already confirmed that Long Kuan was the replacement after his consciousness was devoured by the Outlander, they couldn't afford to make any mistakes at this moment. Even Dao ancestor Long Meng was only able to suppress him after exerting all of his strength. This was enough to show just how powerful this outsider was. Elder Yen Long looked piously at the ice dragon ancestor and asked, "Ancestor, I wonder if you know where the stranger you mentioned is now? This matter concerns the safety of our dragon clan. Even if this matter is already too late, and Elder Yen Long has led everyone to make up for it, perhaps there's a turn for the better." The ice dragon ancestor nodded and said, "Little friend Long Chen already said it before. Could it be that you didn't hear it? Elder Yen Long's expression froze. At this moment, the members of the Dragon Clan on the shore of the Dragon Lake immediately understood what Long Chun meant by his words at the beginning. Gradually, the members of the Dragon tribe could not help but look at Long Kun. At this moment, Long Kun, who was the center of attention, did not know what to do. Long Chin walked towards Long Kun and said with a smile, "Long Kun, is it? You are already at this stage, and you still want to play dumb? However, there are some things I need to tell you first. Even if you want to play dumb, I don't plan on letting you go." The reason why Long Chun wanted to deal with Long Kun was not only because Long Kun was a stranger. More importantly, Long Kun had just killed Long Mu. If not for Long Chen's timely arrival, Long Mu would have died without a doubt. As Long Chen's words landed, the shore of the Dragon Lake fell silent. The members of the Dragon Clan who had originally supported Long Kun to become the clan leader were all shocked. No one had expected that the situation would develop to such a stage. Originally, they all had great hopes for the position of clan leader. The Long Kun that they held in their hands had actually become a stranger? Above the Dragon Lake, Long Kun still maintained his arrogant attitude. It was as if what Long Chun had said had nothing to do with him from the start to the end. After a short moment of panic, Long Kun retracted his Hong Meng aura and let out a long breath. He stared at Long Chen, who was sizing him up, as well as the ice dragon ancestor beside Long Chen. Among the elders, Elder Mu Long, who had supported Long Kun from the start, felt helpless when he saw this scene. He hurriedly turned to Elder Yen Long and shouted, "Elder Yen Long, how is this possible? Long Kun is one of the most powerful members of the younger generation in our dragon tribe. How could he be that damned outlander?" Elder Yen Long's expression was solemn as he coldly said, "It's best that you don't speak now. If this matter is true, I will definitely settle the score with you when I return. All these years, you have helped Long Kun too much. Our dragon tribe's ancient books on spells and techniques are all true. Do you really think that I don't know that you have opened the door for us?" When Elder Mu Long heard this reply, he immediately shrunk back. Long Chen looked at Long Kun for a long time and said, "You are neither admitting nor denying it. Are you trying to tell me that you are a mute now? Long Kun, I will tell you. Even if you don't say it, that power just now cannot be hidden from others. You can only blame yourself for being too impatient." The ice dragon ancestor beside Long Chen had a stern expression as he looked at Long Kun in front of him. He faintly released an extremely suppressive aura. At this moment, Elder Mu Long suddenly roared, "Long Kun, answer the ancestor's question. Tell them that you are not a stranger, but the most outstanding member of our dragon clan's younger generation." How could Elder Yen Long allow Elder Mu Long to go berserk at this moment? He immediately cooperated with Elder Hai Long and forcefully dragged Elder Mu Long back. After that, 7 to 8 elders worked together and firmly restrained Elder Mu Long. Obviously, this small incident was not enough to sway the situation. Above the Dragon Lake, Long Chun and the Ice Dragon ancestor had already firmly restrained Long Kun. After being silent for a long time, Long Kun finally laughed coldly. His expression was filled with disdain. He looked at the overbearing Long Chun and coldly snorted, "If I knew that you would ruin my plans, I would have done it the first time I saw you. You would have ended my life." These words were no different from admitting Long Chen's suspicions. Long Kun was indeed a stranger. On the shore of the Dragon Lake, Elder Yen Long's body trembled. His face was ashen, and he could not help but feel a chill in his heart. Long ago, before the Dragon Tomb had returned to the Long Meng Grotto Heaven, Elder Yen Long had already thought of leaving the Dragon Tribe leader position to Long Kun. From the looks of it, Elder Yen Long had nearly led the Dragon Tribe to destruction. After hearing Long Kun's words, Long Chen smiled and said, "It's a pity that time cannot be turned back. Perhaps it's because we are in Hongmeng, and everything has to be accommodated to us, the natives. As for us, the foreigners. That's right, I don't know how to address you. To be honest, I have seen your two companions before. However, they were very hot-tempered and did not want to talk nonsense with me. Naturally, I do not know their names. Compared to them, your temperament is much more stable. Chapter 2033. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Kuen's expression shook. His eyebrows twitched as he looked at Long Chen in the distance and slowly said, I am very curious. Who exactly is this person? If he had seen my two companions, how could he still be alive? Long Chen pursed his lips and said, In short, he is not someone who is on the same side as you. In fact, he is someone who wants to defeat you. Long Kuen shook his head and said, I have to say that if such a person was born in the origin continent, he would definitely be able to become the ruler of a region. However, in this tiny Hong Meng continent it is really a pity. A tiny place. Hearing Long Kuen describe the Hong Meng continent in such a way, Long Chen was momentarily unable to react. The Hong Meng continent, which had the 9 polar regions, was only a tiny place in Long Kuen's eyes? Then, what was the origin continent that Long Kuen came from like? Long Chen could not help but feel a little expectant. Since he is a foreigner, why is he so interested in the position of the Dragon Clan's leader? He is even willing to do anything for the position of the Dragon Clan's leader? At this moment, the Ice Dragon Ancestor asked in a deep voice. Long Kuen glanced at the Ice Dragon Ancestor and said, A foreigner? This title is rather interesting. 100,000 years ago, my brother and I were the rulers of this paradise. Who would have thought that just as we gained control of this paradise, our dragon ancestor would be dragged by Long Kuen? That Taofather Long Meng forcibly dragged this paradise from the continent of Genesis to the primordial chaos. Are we really willing to be outlanders? Although Long Chen did not really understand the meaning behind Long Kuen's words, Long Chen could roughly guess what was going on when he thought about the Pearl of Domain that he had seen before. Thinking about it, the Pearl of Domain and the Ruler of Domain had a certain connection. It was a necessary connection. When we came to the Hong Meng continent, even though we were foreigners, we treated this place as our own territory. That Long Meng Dao ancestor even took advantage of the fact that we were unable to accept the power of the Hong Meng continent and suppressed me, heavily injuring my brother. Who was the one who gave the explanation? Long Kuen roared furiously. Long Chen was a little surprised. He looked at Long Kuen's reaction. What Long Kuen said before didn't seem to be false. If this was really the case, then indeed, from Long Kuen's point of view, what Dao ancestor Long Meng did was a little too much. The Ice Dragon ancestor's expression was solemn, and he said coldly, After recovering from your injuries, you sent out a portion of your consciousness to gradually devour the people of the dragon race. You want to unify the dragon race and take over the position of the dragon race's patriarch? Long Kuen retorted, This is what the dragon race owes me. I want to lead the entire dragon race to destruction. After so many years of planning, I just wanted the dragon race to be destroyed with dignity. However, since you don't need this dignity, then don't blame me for not giving you any face. Without waiting for Long Kuen's words to fade, Elder Yen Long leapt up and rushed over. His expression was filled with rage. Elder Yen Long said angrily, Long Kuen, if you have such a scheme against the dragon race, I, Yen Long, will be the first to disagree. Long Kuen's eyes narrowed and he said sternly, Elder Yen Long, you have appeared at the right time. Tens of years ago, if it weren't for the fact that you repeatedly rejected my ascension to the position of the dragon race's patriarch, the entire dragon race would have ceased to exist. However, now that the dragon race has shed all pretense of cordiality, don't blame me for fighting with my back to the wall. Foreigners, don't get involved with me. Elder Yen Long said angrily, You better surrender obediently. Otherwise, I will definitely suppress you in the Long Meng paradise like I did 100,000 years ago and never be able to rise again." After he said that, waves of Hong Meng's aura swept out from Elder Yen Long's body. With a thought, this Hong Meng's aura, which was wrapped in a dense aura, pounced towards Long Kuan in an instant. It's time to let these idiots from this tiny place know what true power is. Seeing that Elder Yen Long was about to make his move, Long Kuan's expression turned serious. Immediately after, the Hong Meng behind him trembled and a powerful energy was released. This energy was the energy that Long Chun had determined that Long Kuan was the foreigner. It was the same energy that Long Chun had sensed from the Pearl of Domain. "Elder Yen Long, this energy does not originate from Hong Meng. You must be extremely careful." Long Chun felt that something was amiss and hurriedly reminded Elder Yen Long. Elder Yen Long turned around and nodded at Long Chun. His expression was stern. However, since the situation had already reached this stage, it was impossible for Elder Yen Long to retrieve the Hong Meng around him. At this moment, he could only fight to the death. How could he retreat? Elder Yen Long's body suddenly emitted a majestic bloodline power. In an instant, the vast Hong Meng's aura rushed towards Elder Yen Long from all directions. After a series of seals, the Hong Meng's aura condensed together. Numerous pure and clear Hong Meng's aura gathered together. After a moment, it shot towards Long Kuan like a ray of light. In the meantime, the Hong Meng's aura came into contact with the mysterious energy released by Long Kuan. Immediately, numerous deafening Hong Meng explosions sounded out. In the face of this mysterious energy, the Hong Meng's energy was actually so weak? Even until you die, you will not know what true power is in this world. Long Kuan stretched his body and the energy around him became denser. Elder Yen Long shouted and could not help but furrow his eyebrows. It was obvious that Elder Yen Long had encountered a lot of resistance during the fight with Long Kuan. Even Elder Yen Long, who was at the 9th level of the Hong Meng heavenly realm, felt that it was a challenge when Long Kuan unleashed his full power. Thinking back to the battle between Long Kuan and Long Mu, it was a little unbelievable. Thinking about it, it was just as Long Kuan had said. His plan was to let the dragon race die with more dignity. Long Chen looked at Ancestor Ice Dragon with a gloomy expression. Ancestor Ice Dragon slowly said, "When you were in the Nether Cold Valley, did you keep the Pearl of Domain?" After being reminded by Ancestor Ice Dragon, Long Chun immediately thought of something and hurriedly said, "That's right. The Pearl of Domain is with me now." Ancestor Ice Dragon nodded his head and said, "Perhaps by relying on the Pearl of Domain, we will be able to give him a taste of his own medicine." Long Chun immediately understood what Ancestor Ice Dragon meant. At this moment, Long Kuan was relying on the mysterious energy and had an absolute advantage in the situation. Even Elder Yen Long of the Dragon Clan was not his match. Although Ancestor Ice Dragon had the ability to fight, if he used this trump card too early, it would cause the other members of the Dragon Clan to be unable to take responsibility in the future. This was not good for the development of the Dragon Clan. Chapter 2034. Long Chun did not think too much about it and immediately took out the Pearl of Domain. Although he was still unable to absorb and refine the power within the Pearl of Domain, Long Chun had already enveloped the entire Pearl of Domain with his spirit power. Therefore, Long Chun could borrow the power of his spirit to achieve a certain degree of control. A kind of control over the Pearl of Domain. In this way, Long Chun could control the power within the Pearl of Domain. The Ice Dragon Ancestor nodded at Long Chun, indicating for Long Chun to go all out. With someone like the Ice Dragon Ancestor protecting him from behind, Long Chun was much more relaxed. He immediately leaped forward and used his spirit power to control the Pearl of Domain, pressing it towards Long Kuan. Long Chun did not intend to give Long Kuan too much time to react. After all, Long Chun could only control the Pearl of Domain for an instant. Therefore, Long Chen needed to take Long Kun by surprise and end the battle quickly. Even if he could not defeat Long Kun with the Pearl of Domain, he had to retreat as soon as possible. Who knew how uncontrollable the situation would become if Long Kun obtained the Pearl of Domain? Long Chen's figure closed in on Long Kun as he circulated his spirit power. Immediately, he controlled the Domain Pearl to emit a pressure similar to Long Kun's mysterious energy. After a brief moment of condensation, the pressure shot towards Long Kun. Long Chen's series of actions were completed in the blink of an eye. Long Kun was focused on fighting with Elder Yen Long and did not have time to react. Or rather, even if Long Kun did react, it was already too late. He could only let it happen. Bang! The energy released by the Pearl of Domain immediately pressed down on Long Kun's body. In just a short moment, the dense layer of mysterious energy around Long Kun's body shattered and collapsed. Long Kun reacted in shock. When Long Kun reacted, the mysterious power in this world had completely dissipated. The Pearl of Domain? Why is it in your hands? How did you control it? Long Kun panicked when he saw the Pearl of Domain controlled by Long Chen and felt the aura that came from the same source as his own power. Long Chen raised his eyebrows and said, "Looks like this thing is good. It should be useful against foreigners like you." Long Kun angrily said, "Even if you obtained the Pearl of Domain, you can't refine and absorb the power within it." Long Chen coldly snorted and said, "Who said that I'm going to refine and absorb it? I'm just activating the power within it so that you can't use your power to forcefully suppress us." Without waiting for Long Kun's reply, Long Chen looked towards Elder Yen Long and said, "Elder Yen Long, you can now go all out and spar with Long Kun. I guarantee that you will no longer have the strength from before." Elder Yen Long calmed down and said, "Thank you, Benefactor Long Chen." The Hongmeng aura gathered around Elder Yen Long's body once again after he finished speaking. A cold glint flashed across his eyes. In the previous match, Elder Yen Long had indeed been suppressed rather bitterly because of that mysterious power. Now, if he used the dragon move now that Long Kun no longer had the help of the mysterious power, Elder Yen Long was confident in dealing with Long Kun with his tens of thousands of years of experience after reaching the 9th stage of Hongmeng Tianjing. Elder Yen Long dashed out and charged towards Long Kun. At the same time, the thick Hongmeng aura rushed down. In just a few breaths' time, it had strengthened the entire dragon lake. Immediately after, a ball of bright Hongmeng aura condensed in front of Elder Yen Long and slowly formed into an illusory figure. When Long Chen saw this, he couldn't help but sigh in relief. Heaven and Earth Fire Dragon Technique. Seeing this familiar technique, Long Chen immediately thought of the Heaven and Earth Fire Dragon technique that he met in the small spiritual world. It was the Flame Dragon that taught him the Heaven and Earth Fire Dragon technique and awakened his heavenly dragon bloodline. At that time, Long Chen didn't have the ability to help the Flame Dragon. He could only let the Flame Dragon endure the erosion of time in the clouds and wait for its death. But now, Long Chen was very confident that if he could meet the Flame Dragon technique, he would be able to meet the Flame Dragon technique. If they met the Fiery Dragon again, Long Chen would definitely be able to take it out of the small spirit world and show it the Hongmeng polar region. Bang bang bang! 3 consecutive sounds of Hongmeng being suppressed rang out. The illusory figure of the Flame Dragon in front of Elder Yen Long charged towards Long Kun with an unstoppable force. Now, as long as Long Kun wanted to use the mysterious power around him, he would be able to sense it. Long Chen, who was far away, used the Pearl of Domain to detect it. He then used the Pearl of Domain to completely destroy the mysterious power around Long Kun. Although Long Chen was unable to control the Pearl of Domain, he was able to use the Pearl of Domain to control Long Kun in such a manner. This was already an important matter. Since he no longer had the mysterious power that he was so proud of, Long Kun was at a disadvantage in the battle between him and Elder Yen Long. After all, He had only advanced to Hong Meng Tianjing's 9th level for a few decades. On the other hand, Elder Yen Long had already been a Hong Meng Tianjing's 9th level expert for tens of thousands of years. There wasn't much suspense in the battle between the two of them. Elder Yen Long controlled the illusory figure of the flame dragon and charged forward. Every time they collided with Hong Meng, Elder Yen Long would have the absolute advantage and force Long Kun back. Very quickly, the aura around Long Kun's body decreased bit by bit. It was the same aura that had forced Elder Yen Long back previously. It was as if he was a completely different person. Clang! Boom! There was another violent clash of primordial chaos. This time, Elder Yen Long supported the entire Dragon Lake, causing the violently shaking primordial chaos in the Dragon Lake to be controlled by Elder Yen Long at a certain moment. He borrowed the power of the monstrous wave. Elder Yen Long first used the illusory figure of the Hong Meng to trap Long Kun's body, preventing him from escaping. Then, he controlled this force and poured it down, directly pressing down on Long Kun's body. How could Long Kun be able to withstand such a powerful impact? Before the huge wave could reach him, Long Kun spat out a mouthful of blood and was forcefully smashed into the Dragon Lake. Immediately after, Elder Yen Long controlled the Dragon Lake, causing Long Kun to appear from the bottom of the Dragon Lake. His entire body was surrounded by the illusory figure of the flame dragon that was controlled by Elder Yen Long. The surrounding Hong Meng was extremely intimidating. Long Kun half-knelt at the bottom of the Dragon Lake. The blood stain at the corner of his mouth was extremely obvious. At this moment, his entire person was extremely miserable. His previously arrogant face had also turned pale in this situation. Chapter 2035. Long Kun, I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and beg for mercy. In the future, listen to the orders of the Dragon Clan and I'll spare your life. Elder Yen Long's expression was excited. The flame dragon phantasm around him emitted waves of pressure and directly bombarded Long Kun with his words. On his body. Hearing these words, Long Kun slowly raised his head and coldly said, I'm clearly the owner of this space. I'm the ruler of this space. You invaders, snatching my space away. In the end, you still want to play the blame game and call me a outlander? Ha ha, what a joke. What a joke. I never expected that in this tiny Hong Meng, there would actually be someone who knows how to snatch space away. I never expected. Unrepentant. Elder Yen Long tightly knitted his brows. The flame dragon phantasm around him instantly rushed out and directly charged towards Long Kun, who was at the bottom of the Dragon Lake. Elder Yen Long more or less still had some hope for Long Kun. However, in such a situation where he was thinking for the Dragon Clan, everything had to be done for the greater good. If Long Kun continues to be so stubborn, then he must die. Looking at the invincible flame dragon phantasm, a trace of disdain flashed across Long Kun's eyes. Immediately after, Long Kun forcefully endured the pain and stood up. He violently used his hand to wipe away the blood at the corner of his mouth. Immediately after, Long Kun clenched his teeth. Placing his hands behind his back, he muttered some word. A wave of consciousness connected to his divine soul immediately burst out from Long Kun's body. In such a situation, no one could guess what Long Kun was trying to do. As for the consciousness that Long Kun released, no one could stop it at that moment. After the consciousness left Long Kun's body, it suddenly disappeared in a way that transcended space. In a short moment, the consciousness invaded the shore of the Dragon Lake. At the same time, the eyes of Elder Mulong, who was previously being controlled by the Dragon Clan elders, suddenly turned blood-red. His entire body directly released a vast amount of fiendish energy. In the next moment, another Dragon Clan elder did the same thing as Elder Mulong. This caused the other Dragon Clan elders to look at each other. For a moment they did not know what to do. Seeing this, Elder Hai Long exclaimed, "Restrain Elder Mulong." In addition, everyone else, follow me to suppress Elder D. Long. Elder D. Long was the Dragon Clan elder who did the same thing as Elder Mu Long Kun. At this moment, Elder Yen Long was still unaware of what was happening to Elder D. Long and Elder Mu Long. It could even be said that Elder Yen Long did not notice the consciousness that Long Kun released. At this moment, Elder Yen Long's only thought was to kill Long Kun. Long Kun. Long Kun's Kun. Long Kun's Kun. Long Kun Kun. Hong 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 S Kun. Long Kun, who was originally gravely injured, seemed to have been reborn. His entire body was now filled with vigor and strength. Faced with Elder Yen Long's attack, Long Kun immediately unleashed a wave of oppressive aura. In the blink of an eye, it condensed into a sea of energy. It was the Hong Meng chakra with supreme strength. Clang! After that, the chakra turned into a cloud of dust. It was like a blast of air hitting the surface of the water. Even though it stirred up huge waves on the surface of the water, it did not shatter the surface of the water. From afar, Long Chen looked at Long Kun and the two elders on the shore of the Dragon Lake and felt a chill run down his spine. He hurriedly looked at the Ice Dragon ancestor beside him. The Ice Dragon ancestor's expression was solemn. He said in a deep voice, "Quickly go to the shore and see if you can use the Pearl of Domain to control the two elders. I will deal with Long Kun." For the Ice Dragon ancestor to be so flustered, it was obvious that this was not an easy matter to resolve. However, before Long Chen could unleash the aura around his body, another shocking change followed. At the bottom of the Dragon Lake, Long Kun, who had successfully blocked Elder Yen Long's killing attack, finally had a chance to catch his breath after a short stalemate with Elder Yen Long. He successfully extricated himself. The chakra in front of him also instantly enveloped him. Long Kun's entire body was wrapped up. Long Kun looked at the situation on the shore of the Dragon Lake. He smiled and said, "Supreme strength, blood devours the heavens." As he said this, blood spurted out from Long Kun's body. He looked down at the members of the dragon tribe on the shore of the Dragon Lake. The smile on his face became even more intense. "King of the blood corpses, destroy the heavens and earth." Boundless fresh blood smashed towards the chakra. The instant it came into contact with the chakra, it dissipated into pieces of primordial dust visible to the naked eye. Long Kun's entire body was completely immersed in the chakra. At this moment, his entire body was completely immersed in the chakra. It was an extremely fanatical action. At the same time, the two elders on the shore of the Dragon Lake, who had sunk into madness, also emitted waves of dense aura. They directly broke through the restrictions placed on them by the other elders. The two elders, whose bodies underwent a huge transformation, directly leaped up and rushed towards the Dragon Lake. They rushed towards the Dragon Lake. In the blink of an eye, the two elders passed through the Ice Dragon ancestor's ice barrier and the Fire Dragon ancestor's fire dragon world. Then, they released an extremely powerful aura towards the chakra beside Long Kun. On the shore of the Dragon Lake, the few elders who allowed the two elders to escape also suffered serious injuries. However, since things had already come to this, they could only entrust the rest of the matters to the few people on the Dragon Lake. Members of the Dragon Clan, retreat from the Dragon Lake. Seeing this scene, the Ice Dragon ancestor hurriedly shouted towards the people on the shore of the Dragon Lake. Immediately after, the Ice Dragon ancestor released the power of the Ice Dragon bloodline, sealing off the entire Dragon Lake. At this moment, Long Chen and the Ice Dragon ancestor were standing together on the Dragon Lake. The Fire Dragon ancestor was still facing Long Kun, who was at the bottom of the Dragon Lake. They did not dare to relax for even a moment. As for the two elders who had attacked from the shore of the Dragon Lake, it was as if they had entered the void. 100,000 years ago I have seen this move. It was this move that forced Tao ancestor Long Meng to pay the price of being seriously injured in order to suppress it here. The Ice Dragon ancestor said to Long Chen with a terrified expression. What is he trying to do? Long Chen did not understand. The Ice Dragon ancestor shook his head and said, I don't know. Long Chen understood the meaning of the Ice Dragon ancestor's words. Facing such a powerful attack, Long Chen was also extremely nervous. Chapter 2036. Could it be that Long Kuan has already devoured the consciousness of the two elders and made them his subordinates? Long Chen exclaimed. The Ice Dragon ancestor began to gather his Hong Meng aura and said, Perhaps. No matter what, today's battle concerns the future of our dragon tribe. We cannot relax. After saying this, the Ice Dragon ancestor charged towards Long Kuan. The biting cold aura of Hong Meng permeated the dragon lake. Woo woo! After the two elders of the dragon tribe collided with the chakra, the two elders stopped beside the chakra like puppets. The chakra began to release a terrifying and dense energy that continuously poured into the bodies of the two elders. Inside. Very quickly, something that made Long Chen dumbfounded happened. Within the chakra, a wave of life energy rose. This life energy seemed to originate from Long Kuan, but it also seemed to originate from the Long Meng heavenly abode. In short, when the life energy was released, the two elders who were in front of the chakra began to tremble. The two elders of the dragon tribe suddenly opened their eyes. Their blood-red eyes released an incomparably ferocious aura of Hong Meng. The two elders emitted an aura that caused the sky to change color. In just a few short moments, the two elders had experienced a rebirth. However, the two elders that came after him were completely different from his previous self. Long Chen could not help but exhale a breath of cold air. Looking at the two blood corpses, he could not help but shiver. A ferocious aura of destruction spread out. The chakra was still continuously emitting a terrifying blood corpse aura. The originally incomparably pure primordial energy above the dragon lake had actually dissipated into the horizon in this short instant. Finally, Long Chen could clearly see the two figures that had condensed within the chakra after such a long time of brewing. At this moment, the two elders had lost their original appearance. From then on, they were neither human nor ghost. In an instant, a stream of chi of life flashed past, and the two figures opened their eyes, as if they had their own independent consciousness. The two of them looked at the fire dragon elder in front of them with a disdainful expression. Soon after, they looked at the ice dragon ancestor in the distance. Only then did they show some interest. A dense fiendish aura permeated the air above the dragon lake, causing it to change its charm. The ice dragon ancestor looked at the two figures and couldn't help but reveal a somewhat depressed expression. Your aura is a little familiar. Were you also here 100,000 years ago? The two figures sized up the ice dragon ancestor for a while before they finally opened their mouth. The ice dragon ancestor wasn't too surprised. He calmed himself down and said in a deep voice, That's right. I was indeed present when Tao ancestor Long Meng suppressed them 100,000 years ago. Back then, I was just a nobody. Now, I don't even have the slightest bit of control over my strength, one of the figures mocked. The ice dragon ancestor shook his head and said, Since this is the second time we've met, can you tell me your name and let me, a dragon clan from a small place, broaden my horizons? The two figures smiled, and one of them said in a deep voice, After these 100,000 years of torment, how can I still remember my original name? However, there is a name that I can remember. When I was in the Origin continent, some people liked to call me. It's called the Blood Demon Venerable. Then you can call me the Blood Corpse Venerable, the other figure quickly said. The ice dragon ancestor coldly snorted, not concealing his contempt for the two figures at all. He coldly said, Just by hearing your names, I don't think you have a good reputation in the Origin continent. I don't think reputation is important. Whether it's in the Origin mainland or Hong Meng world, strength is the most important thing. If you want to gain fame, you have to have strength first. The figure who called himself Venerable Blood Demon said coldly. The Blood Corpse Venerable snorted. The Ice Dragon Ancestor frowned and said, "If I'm not wrong, you guys are just using the bodies of these two elders of my dragon clan. In fact, you guys are just wills that were left behind under the suppression of Dao Ancestor Long Meng 100,000 years ago. Divine Soul, right?" The Blood Demon Venerable and the Blood Corpse Venerable hurriedly nodded at the Ice Dragon Ancestor's words. The Blood Corpse Venerable said, "We've been seen through, but it doesn't matter. With your strength, it's impossible for you to be a match for us. 100,000 years ago, in order to suppress us, the so-called Dao Ancestor Long Meng paid such a huge price. What happened in the end? He just left the realm lord of this space behind. Didn't the two of us still escape? Furthermore, my main body chose to devour the consciousness of one of them and replace that person. Thinking about it, after that, the Dragon Clan didn't have a peaceful life, right?" When he said this, Long Kuan, who was behind the chakra, had a desolate expression, as if he had been wronged. Long Kuan hurriedly shouted, "The two of you, since you've successfully revived this wisp of divine soul, quickly help me deal with the trouble here. Otherwise, we'll be in a dilemma again." "What's the hurry?" the Blood Demon Venerable said angrily. "We've waited for 100,000 years. Can't we wait for this little bit of time?" Long Kuan retorted, "If the two of you hadn't told me this secret technique, how would I have ended up in such a state? Now, the two of you are still trapped in Hong Meng. This is really different from what you told me at the beginning. The difference is too great." The Blood Corpse Venerable frowned and said, all right. Our main bodies have been trapped somewhere for tens of thousands of years. That's why the Realm Lord is so anxious. Now we'll help him deal with the trouble in this space. After that, we'll proceed with the next step of the plan." When Long Kuan heard this, he let out a long breath and said, "Remember, the Realm Pearl has already been taken away by the brat behind the Ice Dragon. Remember to snatch it back for me." When he heard this, the Blood Demon Venerable was a little surprised. He hurriedly looked at Long Chen, who was behind the Ice Dragon Ancestor, and frowned. A brat whose cultivation realm is lower than that of the Dragon Clan is actually able to control the Realm Pearl? How did he do it? Long Kuan didn't reply. After all, Long Kuan himself didn't know. Long Chen looked at the Blood Corpse Venerable and the Blood Demon Venerable. The aura of Hong Meng around him gradually condensed. The power of his spirit tightly locked the Realm Pearl, preventing all external forces from interfering. Chapter 2037. Male Sign NBSB. The atmosphere was deadlocked for a while before Venerable Blood Corpse shook his head and said, "There's no need to worry. In my opinion, that kid can only slightly control the Domain Pearl. As for the power contained in the Domain Pearl, it's impossible for him to do so. No matter what, the master of this domain is still on our side." After saying that, Venerable Blood Corpse looked at Long Kuan. Long Kuan frowned and let out a long sigh. "I can try my best." Hearing those words, a smile appeared on Reverend Blood Demon's face. Long Kuan slowly walked forward. His body was already heavily injured, and he looked extremely tired. His aura and spirit were also much more desolate than before. However, when Long Chen and the Ice Dragon Ancestor saw Long Kuan moving again, they did not dare to slack off. After all, what Long Kuan did just now was to turn the two elders of the Dragon Clan into the current Blood Demon Venerable and Blood Corpse Venerable. From the looks of it, the cultivation of these two venerables was not lower than level 9 Hong Meng Tianjing. Very quickly, a strange energy began to gather around Long Kuan's body. It was as if there was a connection between the heavens and the earth. Seeing Long Kuan's actions, Blood Demon Knight smiled and turned to look at Long Chen and the Ice Dragon Ancestor. Then, he looked at the dragon race clansmen on the shore of the Dragon Lake. His face revealed a look of disdain as he mocked, "Ants in a small place. I'm sure you won't understand what true power is in your lifetime. Fortunately, I'm willing to show you mercy and allow you ants to see this vast feast in your lifetime. Let's see if you have the ability to do so." The ice dragon ancestor in the distance was also quite angry. Under its piercingly cold expression, the ice dragon ancestor suddenly rushed out. An extremely dense Hongmeng aura overflowed into the sky and directly smashed the dragon. The lake was covered. Even the ice dragon ancestor, who had lived for nearly 100,000 years, did not hide the killing intent in his heart after hearing the provocative words of the blood demon supremacy. "Dragon tribe, prepare for battle!" Elder Yen Long hurriedly cried out towards the Dragon Lake shore upon seeing this. "The Dragon Clan requests for battle." At this moment, the Dragon tribe on the shore of the Dragon Lake no longer had their previous opposition. A roar that shook the clouds suddenly sounded. Immediately, it enveloped this part of the world in the pressure of the Dragon tribe's bloodline. Immediately after, several surging Hongmeng auras came from the shore of the Dragon Lake. In just a few breaths, all the Dragon Clan members on the shore of the Dragon Lake revealed their Dragon Clan true bodies and began to gather above the Dragon Lake. The Ice Dragon ancestor looked at the Blood Demon Venerable and said coldly, 100,000 years ago, you all met a tragic end. 100,000 years later, it will still be the same." The Blood Demon Venerable snorted coldly and said, "Back then, there was your so-called Tao ancestor Long Meng. It was also because I was careless and underestimated my enemy that you guys were one step ahead of me. Now, in this dragon race, there is actually you who was not ranked back then. Leader Luo, do you really think you can win?" While the Blood Demon Venerable and the Ice Dragon ancestor were fighting, Long Kuan was still gathering the aura around his body. It was as if he was preparing for an earth-shattering move. Long Chun had many misgivings because Long Chun had used his spirit to control the Pearl of Domain and felt a trace of aura around Long Kuan. That aura was too strong. It was so strong that Long Chen was unable to detect the essence of that aura. "Whether I have the confidence to win or not, it is not up to you to say. I will use my strength to prove it to you," the Ice Dragon ancestor said in a deep voice. The Blood Demon Venerable looked at Long Kuan and smiled. "I'm afraid you won't have the chance to prove it." After he said that, the aura around Long Kuan suddenly dissipated and surged in all directions. This aura instantly returned to all directions and returned to the entire Dragon Meng paradise. The Dragon Lake below started to tremble violently, following which, the land by the Dragon Lake and the mountain range in the distance started to tremble in a manner that they had not experienced for the past 10,000 years. Then, at the edge of the trembling area, several strange auras surged out and forced the surrounding Dragon tribe members to retreat. At the same time, the Pearl of Domain that Long Chen was controlling started to tremble violently. When Long Chen activated his spirit, he could clearly feel that those strange auras were connected to the Pearl of Domain. Or rather, they were the same type of power. As the Lord of the Domain, I am far more familiar with the control of this place than all of you. Ants like you will never be able to possess such power in your lifetime. Long Kuan's expression became extremely ferocious, and it was as if he was filled with an extremely gloomy aura. Power. Damn it. Elder Yen Long's face was filled with shock when he saw the strange changes that had occurred in the surroundings. This calamity was clearly about to destroy the Dragon Meng utopia. Waves of violent auras surged out from the Dragon Meng paradise and collided with the Hong Meng aura that existed in the Dragon Meng paradise. Without exception, the aura gained the absolute advantage in every collision. In an instant, the Dragon tribe members in the Dragon Meng paradise exhausted a lot of Hong Meng's power just to avoid those strange auras. Long Chen was shocked when he saw the intense collisions. As Long Chen had the Pearl of Domain, those strange auras could not affect Long Chen much. However, Long Chen could not allow those auras to spread. If this dragged on, it would not only target the dragon tribe members, but also the entire Dragon Meng paradise. If they did not stop it, the entire Dragon Meng paradise would be destroyed. The Flame Dragon Elder panicked for a moment. He hurriedly flew to the Ice Dragon Ancestor's side and asked with a melancholy expression, "Ancestor, this is a moment of crisis for our dragon tribe. Please tell me what we should do." Ancestor Ice Dragon frowned and said, "No matter what, there are only 3 of them. I will hold back one of the 2 honorable beings. You bring the other dragon tribe elders to hold back the other one." Elder Yen Long was a little surprised. With his current strength, he could hold back one of the honorable beings. Could it be that the honorable being was so powerful? "Ancestor, how should we deal with Long Kun? The strange changes in the Dragon Meng paradise were caused by him. If we do not stop him, I'm afraid that we will not be able to do anything." Elder Yen Long's expression was grave as he asked in a panic. Ancestor Ice Dragon did not reply when he heard this. Instead, he looked at Long Chen. Chapter 2038. Long Chen sensed the Ice Dragon Ancestor's gaze. He immediately moved closer to the Ice Dragon Ancestor and slowly said, "I think I can give it a try." Hearing this, Elder Yen Long was extremely shocked. He said, his cultivation is only at the Hong Meng Yuan Jie, right? How can he deal with Long Kun?" Beside him, the Ice Dragon Ancestor shook his head and said, "Perhaps only he can deal with Long Kun." Elder Yen Long's expression froze. He did not know the reason behind this. Long Chen said, "I have already encountered the strength that Long Kun is using in the Nether Cold Valley. It originated from the Pearl of Domain in my hand. With the cooperation of the Ice Dragon Ancestor, I used my spirit strength to temporarily suppress this Pearl of Domain. Therefore, the current me is able to release a strength that is of the same origin as Long Kun's." Elder Yen Long frowned and said, "What kind of strength is this?" Long Chen said, "A strength that originates from the origin continent." After speaking, Long Chen controlled the Pearl of Domain in his hand and slowly flew towards Long Kun. Elder Yen Long did not ask any more questions. He quickly went to the shore of the Dragon Lake to gather the elders of the Dragon tribe. The Ice Dragon Ancestor approached Long Chen and said, "Be careful. If you really can't do it, remember, do not let Long Kun obtain the Pearl of Domain no matter what." Long Chen understood and hurriedly nodded. He said, "Elder, don't worry. Then, I will have to rely on you to cover for me." The Ice Dragon Ancestor's expression did not reveal any joy or anger. He said in a clear voice, "After resting for so many years, I did not expect that I would have to exercise my muscles and bones the moment I come out. Just what I want." After speaking, the Hong Meng energy around the Ice Dragon Ancestor burst forth and charged towards the Venerable Blood Demon Venerable or Venerable Blood Corpse Venerable. A thick chill flashed across Long Chen's eyes. He looked at Long Kun, who was not far away, and felt the Pearl of Domain in his hand. More or less, there was some energy that Long Chen had never encountered before embedded in it. Back in the body. Gradually, the Dragon Lake was engulfed by the strange energy that Long Kun had condensed. Bursts of Hong Meng explosions resounded across the horizon, and the Dragon Tribe members who had already transformed into their Dragon Tribe true forms suffered quite a bit of damage. Although they didn't know what kind of situation this strange energy would cause, everyone on Long Chen's side knew that they definitely couldn't allow Long Kun to complete this formation so smoothly. Otherwise, they would definitely lose their lives. Otherwise, the Dragon Clan would be in dire straits. Elder Yen Long quickly rushed to the side of the Dragon Tribe that was circling in the air. After a few glances, dozens of huge Dragon Tribe true bodies followed Elder Yen Long and charged over. These Dragon Tribe cultivators were all cultivators from the Dragon Tribe. They might not be stronger than Long Kun, but they would more or less be able to put up a fight in this battle. Elders of the dragon tribe, follow me. The rest of you, listen to Long Chen's orders. Elder Yen Long shouted. After saying this, Long Chen looked at Elder Yen Long and shot him a grateful look. With Long Chen's strength, he would be at a disadvantage in this kind of battle. Perhaps the Hong Meng tremors caused by this battle would push Long Chen into dire straits. Therefore, it was a blessing to have some people protecting him. Long Chen did not say anything else. He hurriedly rushed to Elder Yen Long's side and waited for the dragon tribe members to gather. As for Elder Yen Long, he led the other elders to deal with the other honorable martial artists. The ice dragon ancestor looked at the blood demon honorable and said sternly, 100,000 years ago, even if the two of them were at their peak, they still ended up in a situation where they had to escape with serious injuries. Now they are just illusions formed by two spirits. Do you think that you can succeed this time? Do you? At the same time, the Hong Meng aura around the ice dragon ancestor was released along with the rich bloodline strength. The surrounding area immediately became incomparably cold. A dragon lake also turned into ice at this moment. The blood demon honorable did not show any emotion as he coldly said, "An ant like you dares to speak nonsense?" Soon after, the aura around the blood demon venerable began to circulate. A dense fiendish aura spread out and a couple of symbols with strange words condensed around his body. After being catalyzed by the blood demon venerable, these strange symbols began to form. It was an extremely berserk energy that made the blood demon venerable look extremely terrifying. The ice dragon ancestor did not show the slightest fear. He immediately condensed the Hong Meng around his body and charged toward the blood demon honorable with lightning-like speed. At the center of the battle between the two, the frightening impact that spread out in all directions caused the two of them to charge into the clouds. Soon after, Elder Yen Long led 7 to 8 elders of the dragon tribe and rushed over. They faced the blood corpse honorable, who was about to go and help the blood demon honorable. Surround and attack. Elder Yen Long did not intend to give the blood corpse honorable too much time to react. He immediately ordered the elders to charge toward the blood corpse honorable. It had already reached the point where he had no choice but to fight. The blood corpse honorable looked at Long Kun behind him and said, "In any case, you are the domain lord of this region. You can't be unable to complete such a small matter, right? There is no need to point fingers at me." Long Kun's expression was solemn. After receiving Long Kun's reply, the blood corpse honorable immediately released the aura around his body. Facing the attack of the 9 elders of the dragon tribe, the blood corpse honorable did not show the slightest fear. His body also emitted those strange runes. He sent a dragon clan elder in front of him flying, and then rushed into the encirclement of the dragon clan elders. The remaining elders of the dragon tribe immediately engaged in an intense battle with the blood corpse honorable under the leadership of Elder Yen Long. Looking at the battle between the two sides, Long Chen let out a long sigh. His expression was slightly desolate. This terrifying battle scene was much bigger than any battle Long Chen had seen before. "How is it?" At this moment, Long Chen's familiar voice rang out beside Long Chen. Turning around, it was Long Mu and Long Yuan. Behind them, there were close to 100 dragon tribe members. Long Chen nodded and said, "Based on my understanding, this Long Meng heavenly abode might really belong to the current Long Kun. However, he does not have the Pearl of Domain in his hands right now. Naturally, he will not be able to successfully control this place. Next, I will use the Pearl of Domain in my hands to try and break Long Kun's array." "How confident are you?" Long Mu's expression was solemn. "Less than 10%. Long Chen said. "That's enough," Long Mu said firmly. Chapter 2039. With Long Mu's words, Long Chen's confidence grew even more. Thinking back to when they were in the Hong Meng polar region, Long Chen, Long Mu, and Long Yuan were still Hong Meng Yuan Jie cultivators. Yet, they were able to face off against 10 Hong Meng Tianjing cultivators. At that time, Long Chen possessed the same level of ambition as he did now. I need some people to cover for me so that I can get close to Long Kuan, Long Chen said calmly. Long Mu nodded and said, "All right. What do you plan to do?" Long Chen looked at Long Kuan, who was still emitting a strong aura, and said solemnly, "The strange aura that has been condensed in the surroundings will be the foundation of Long Kuan's future array formation. Therefore, we have to destroy this strange aura before Long Kuan completely condenses it. However, this aura contains the power of the origin continent. With the power of our Grand Mist world, it will be difficult to suppress it. However, using the power of our spirit will be able to achieve a certain level of effect." "Yes, I understand." Long Mu turned around and looked at his clansmen behind him. In a clear voice, he said, "Clansmen, right now, this strange energy that appeared out of nowhere is about to become the foundation of our Long Meng Paradise's formation. Hence, no matter what, we cannot allow this to happen. Although this energy is strange, as long as we use our spiritual energy, we will be able to suppress it to a certain extent. Although we cannot completely destroy it, if each of us suppresses a part of the energy, it will be able to slow it down. Long Kuan's formation speed will be slightly slower." "Yes." Many of the Dragon Clan cultivators immediately replied. They were not fools and quickly understood how to deal with the current situation. Very quickly, the members of the Dragon tribe charged towards the strange forces scattered all over the Long Meng Utopia. This was the beginning of a great suppression show. Long Chen looked at Long Yuan behind Long Mu and said, "Long Yuan, try to go as well. We can't deal with the situation here for now." Long Yuan wanted to say something but hesitated. However, when he saw the determination in Long Chen's eyes, he didn't say anything. Instead, he left with the other members of the Dragon tribe. In this world, only Long Chen, Long Mu, and Long Kuan were left. "How are your injuries?" Long Chen asked with a frown as he looked at Long Mu, whose face was still pale. Long Mu shook his head and said, "It's nothing serious. But, with such a low cultivation, he might need my protection in this battle." Long Chen sneered and said, "Since that's the case, let's go and suppress the energy with those people." Hearing this, Long Mu's face was filled with shock as he said, "Don't tell me you have to face Long Kuan alone?" Long Chen said in a deep voice, "Only I can do it. Although your cultivation is higher than mine, in Long Kuan's eyes, you are all the same. I believe you have experienced it before. The energy in Long Kuan's body doesn't only have Hong Meng's energy. This strange energy comes from the origin continent and is something we can't deal with right now. I have this pearl of domain in my hands and it will definitely be useful. Therefore, if I stay here, not only will it not help me, it might even drag me down. I'm not joking, but the situation is urgent and I have no choice but to say this." Long Chen was slightly anxious. Long Mu hurriedly nodded his head. His face relaxed and revealed an understanding expression as he said, "All right, if you can't hold on any longer, remember to call for me. No matter where I am, I will immediately rush over to help." Then it's settled. Long Chen nodded his head and said, "It's best to hurry up and suppress as many strange energies as possible. I have a feeling that this isn't the only place that's strange." Long Mu acknowledged and turned around to fly towards the mountains in the distance. After all the Dragon tribe members had entered the battle, Long Chen finally locked his gaze on Long Kuan, who was in the distance. Long Kuan did not hesitate and immediately condensed Hong Meng around him. At the same time, he used his spirit to control the Pearl of Domain. Then, he flew towards Long Kuan. Perhaps it was because he felt the energy released by the Pearl of Domain. The moment Long Chen approached, Long Kuan lifted his head and glared at him with his scarlet eyes. He angrily said, "Hong Meng Yuan Jie? You really don't want to live anymore. Even if you have this pearl of domain, did you come alone to find me with this pearl of domain? Are you here to give it to me? I can give it to you, but there's a need for reciprocity. If you want a reward, hand your life over to me. Long Chun faintly smiled. A rich Hong Meng aura was released. At the same time, his spirit invaded Long Chen's body. The pearl of domain in his hand was immediately released. Under Long Chen's control, the small amount of energy that was released spread out. When it collided with the energy that was released by Long Kun, it caused the two energies to collide. Then, several sound waves exploded in the air. Your ability to talk big is not bad. I'm very curious. With your strength, how exactly are you able to control the pearl of domain? You should know that this is something that originally belonged to me. It also contains my consciousness. Long Kun eerily smiled. However, at the same time, the force that had gathered around his body condensed into pillars of qi behind his smile. While Long Chun was still digesting the meaning of his words, these qi forces quickly rushed toward Long Chun to kill him. Bang! When Long Chun saw this situation, his reaction was quick. He immediately activated his spirit energy and forced the energy released by the Pearl of Domain to collide with Long Kun's energy pillars, repelling these attacks. At the same time, Long Chen's spirit power did not dissipate. Instead, it gathered in midair and was once again absorbed into Long Chen's body. In just a short moment, an invisible murderous aura rose. By the time Long Kun reacted, this murderous aura had before Long Kun could react, the murderous aura had already pounced onto his body. In an instant, the strange energies around Long Kun's body dissipated by quite a bit. This is a spirit technique? When he felt the impact of that energy, a trace of astonishment flashed across Long Kun's eyes. You even know about this? Long Chun smiled. Long Kun let out a sigh of relief and said, I was wondering how this brat from the primordial realm was able to control the Pearl of Domain that originally belonged to me. It turns out that he knows a type of soul art. That's why I added a bit of power to the Pearl of Domain. The consciousness that I placed on the Pearl of Domain should have been extinguished long ago, right? Don't be too confident. To tell you the truth, the attack just now was the first time I used a spirit technique. As for how to control the Pearl of Domain, I merely poured in my spirit energy and its consciousness automatically shattered. Long Chun said expressionlessly. Chapter 2040. If we were in the origin mainland, with my strength, fighting an ant like you would be a joke. However, since we're in the polar region of Hongmeng, you can't blame me. Long Kun sneered. His body swayed a few times in the air. Then, a strong aura spread out. Long Kun's huge Dragon Clan true body suddenly grew bigger. His huge Dragon Clan true body, which was almost 100 feet tall, instantly spread across the horizon. In an instant, the frozen dragon lake began to shake violently. The strange energy swarmed towards Long Kun, and the violent energy locked onto Long Kun. In just a moment, Long Kun's entire body seemed to have absorbed the strange energy, and his body turned dark and gloomy. Then, he stood up. Don't think that you're invincible just because you can control the Pearl of Domain and possess spirit technique. In front of absolute strength, you're nothing. The huge Dragon Clan true body trembled in the air. Every time Long Kun's aura circulated, he gathered the energy that caused the entire Dragon Lake to shake violently. Being looked down upon by you is indeed a little uncomfortable. Long Chen's entire body was in a daze as his spirit power poured out and supported the Domain Pearl in his hand. Immediately, the Domain Pearl glowed with an incomparably resplendent light. The power contained within was incomparably pure. Immediately, the Domain Pearl began to emit a dazzling light. Then, it pressed down from the sky. Rumble! Hongmeng's huge vibrating energy was released. Together with the invasion of his spirit energy, It actually broke apart the dragon lake that was sealed by the white ice dragon ancestor's bloodline power. Then, Long Chun controlled his spirit energy to connect with the dragon lake that contained the endless power of Hong Meng. The dragon lake, which had originally returned to its calm state, suddenly began to rise. In an instant, a huge and mighty heavenly dragon true body condensed behind Long Chun. It was almost 100 feet tall and emitted an endless amount of Dragon Clan bloodline power. Then, it immediately pounced toward the horizon. This is, the members of the Dragon Clan who were fighting were all attracted by the enormous bloodline power. When everyone turned around to look, they saw that a huge heavenly dragon true body had already condensed behind Long Chun. He actually used the Hong Meng Yuan Jie's strength to control the Dragon Clan true body. Even the Ice Dragon ancestor, who was fighting with the Blood Demon Honorable, could not help but raise his eyebrows when he felt this huge fluctuation. The heavenly dragon bloodline of the Dragon Clan. Roar! At this moment, the heavenly dragon true body was completely controlled by Long Chun. Or rather, Long Chun had finally condensed his true body. The power of the heavenly dragon bloodline was unleashed by Long Chun, and a mighty dragon roar shook the sky. The heavenly dragon bloodline, which had not appeared in the Dragon Clan for 100,000 years, had reappeared today. Heavenly dragon true body, bloodline power suppression? This earth-shattering situation caused even Long Kun, who was an entire realm higher than Long Chun, to twitch his face. If it was the Blood Demon Honorable or the Blood Corpse Honorable, they would not be as shocked as Long Kun. This was the strange part. The current Long Kun was no longer the World Lord from the Origin Continent. Tens of thousands of years ago, Long Kun had become a member of the Dragon Clan. At least in terms of physical body, Long Kun was a true member of the Dragon Clan. Long Kun's Dragon Clan bloodline was the Earth Dragon bloodline. Coincidentally, it matched up with Long Chun's Heavenly Dragon bloodline. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. The Heavenly Dragon bloodline was the Dragon Clan's most powerful bloodline. The Earth Dragon bloodline could not be compared to it. Looks like you have quite a few tricks up your sleeve. It's reasonable that you can control the Pearl of Domain. Long Kun endured the Heavenly Dragon bloodline's pressure as he unleashed the energy around his body. He roared at Long Chun, however, no matter how many tricks you have up your sleeves, you won't be able to escape from this Pearl of Domain. You won't be able to escape from me. You'll only die. Long Kun's eyes flashed with intense energy. In the next moment, Long Kun's Earth Dragon true body charged forward. The strange energy around his body moved. Following that, Long Kun's sharp claws pushed forward. A majestic energy condensed in the air. The power condensed in the air and charged toward Long Chun. Dong! Long Chun naturally would not choose to fight Long Kun head-on. After all, the difference in their strength was obvious. Long Chun's purpose in this battle was to stop Long Kun from activating the formation. Once the Ice Dragon ancestor obtained victory, he would then deal with Long Kun. It would be easy. Long Chun rode on the Heavenly Dragon true body and dodged backward. The Hong Meng's aura above the Dragon Lake was immediately disrupted by the Heavenly Dragon's pressure. At the same time, Long Chun borrowed the momentum of the Hong Meng's aura to successfully counterattack from the other side. As he counterattacked, he successfully dodged Long Kun's merciless attack. Kill! Since he had dodged the first attack, Long Chun would not give Long Kun a second chance to attack. If he could not just focus on defense, then it would be a good idea to use offense as defense. Long Chun condensed the power of the Heavenly Dragon's bloodline. At the same time, he supplemented it with his spirit energy. In an instant, he swept up several waves of Hong Meng's aura. After communicating with the Dragon Lake for a short while, he successfully channeled the Dragon Lake's aura into it. A portion of the energy was infused into his own primordial energy. Then, without any hesitation, Long Chen pushed out the energy and directed it towards Long Kun from all directions. The power of an ant! Seeing this, Long Kun sneered. As his body trembled, he grabbed a bright whirlpool of energy from somewhere. Countless strange energies burst out from the whirlpool, but Long Kun did not move at all. Instead, he controlled the whirlpool of energy. The energy vortex swallowed all of Long Chen's attacks. Destroy! Without waiting for Long Chen's second wave of attacks to reach him, Long Kun's lips curled up. The vortex in front of him suddenly expanded by several times. A force that could tear apart space surged out and blasted towards Long Chen. Boom! This time, there was not much time left for Long Chen to dodge the attack. Without any other choice, Long Chen could only circulate the aura around his body and activate the Pearl of Domain that was still under Long Chen's control. He forcefully forced the Pearl of Domain to release a force of aura at this moment. Under the activation of this force of aura, Long Chen completely released his Hong Meng and blasted it towards Long Kun's boundless force. Bang! Long Chen did not choose to clash head-on with Long Kun. Instead, he controlled his force of aura and blasted it towards a place far away from Long Kun's force. This way, even if Long Chen was unable to block this force of aura, he would still be able to cause it to shift. Chapter 2041. Relying on this slight deviation, Long Chen successfully dodged Long Kun's second attack. In this exchange, Long Chen had perfectly displayed some of the combat techniques that he had mastered previously. After so many life and death battles, Long Chen had gained a lot of experience. You better use your techniques now. If you don't use them now, you won't be able to use them after the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. In the distance, Long Kun saw that Long Chen had dodged his attack once again and could not help but feel a little vexed. However, very quickly, several strange auras condensed around Long Kun's body. At the same time, a shockwave that was even more powerful than the one that Long Chen had felt before spread out from Long Kun's body. In an instant, the strange qi that filled the world suddenly grew stronger. Those Dragon Clan members who had already suppressed the qi were suddenly blasted away by the qi. The strong primordial explosion force scattered and collapsed in all directions. The closest to the strange qi was. The Dragon Clan members who were closest to the aura were instantly heavily injured. Long Chen's eyes turned cold. Seeing this situation, Long Chen, who possessed the Pearl of Domain, naturally could not delay any longer. He calmed down the aura around his body and circulated the Hong Meng energy around his body. As he breathed, waves of dragon roars surged out. Roar! A clear and dazzling red light burst out from the Pearl of Domain on Long Chen's body. The Pearl of Domain that was originally revolving around Long Chen's body released an incomparably violent lightning energy at this moment. At this moment, Long Chen's spirit energy also poured out in full force. It was completely infused into the Pearl of Domain. At this moment, the Pearl of Domain had suffered too much damage from Long Chen's spirit energy. At this moment, it spared no effort in releasing all the energy that it could contain. The energy within the Pearl of Domain was exactly the energy that Long Kun had displayed. The energy was the same, extremely crazy. At this moment, Long Chen's remaining spirit power began to gather as if he was preparing for an attack. In the Nine Darkness Demonic Phoenix Clan's Grand Array, Long Chen had listened to the old man's help and left at the most critical moment. Moreover, the old man had also imparted a soul art to Long Chen at that time. In reality, Long Chen had not spent much time on this soul technique before coming to the Dragon Meng Paradise. He had only glanced through it roughly before. No one could say for sure just how powerful the soul technique was. When he was fighting with Long Kun just now, Long Chen had already released a soul technique out of common sense. Long Chen was satisfied with the result. Just from Long Kun's reaction, the soul technique's attack was indeed stronger than Hong Meng's attack. The attack was much more powerful. As for the reason, Long Chen did not know. Long Chen did not know the secrets of the Origin mainland, or rather, the rules of the Origin mainland. For safety's sake, Long Chen continued to gather the Hong Meng's aura in his body. As he slowly gathered it, he prepared to attack Long Kun. In this way, Long Chen was preparing for 3 different attacks at the same time. The energy within the Pearl of Domain, the spirit power, and Hong Meng's energy. There would definitely be some energy that could pose a threat to Long Kun. Long Chen felt that this was inevitable. What a surprise! Long Kun, who was far away, clearly understood Long Chen's thoughts. Even in the face of such a vast attack, Long Kun was still able to control his temper. The strange energy around his body grew stronger and stronger. At the same time, it filled the entire Dragon Meng paradise. The strange energy also rose one after another. Within the entire Dragon Meng paradise, the mountain range was already shaking uncontrollably. The entire sky was on the verge of collapsing. It was as if Long Kun had been accumulating his power for a long time. After a short period of preparation, he immediately condensed a strange shockwave. Without waiting for the shockwave to fully appear, it blasted towards Long Chen. Long Chen controlled the huge heavenly dragon true body. The Pearl of Domain in his hands surrounded him, and the Hong Meng's aura around his body began to vibrate. A vast fire dragon illusory figure surged out from the illusory space, accompanied by the incomparably wild and violent primordial strength around it. At this moment, it seemed to possess the momentum of gathering wind and lightning. It wrapped around the endless primordial strength above the dragon lake, and suddenly, it charged towards Long Kun. An earth-shattering dragon's roar rang out. At this moment, beside Long Chen, it was as if the supreme power of the dragon clan's bloodline had awakened. At the same time, the spirit technique that Long Chen had been accumulating for a long time also charged out in this moment of panic. It was silent, but it did indeed contain an extremely violent killing intent. As for Long Chen's Pearl of Domain, under the control of Long Chen's spirit, it was also forced to release the energy contained within. It could be said to be of the same origin as Long Kun. Boom! A burst of Hong Meng's explosion resounded throughout the heavens and earth. Long Chen's heavenly dragon true body directly emitted a red glow that illuminated the heavens and earth. At the same time, Long Chen's entire body also transformed into a ray of red light at this moment. It tore towards Long Kun. The boundless heavenly dragon's aura pressed down on Long Kun. Perhaps Long Kun would never have thought that after he had taken over the Earth Dragon, he would be at a disadvantage because of the heavenly dragon's aura. As Long Chen rushed forward, the power of the Pearl of Domain was drawn by Long Chen. An exciting scene appeared. As Long Chen passed by, the power of the Pearl of Domain that surrounded him came into contact with him. The strange energy that Long Kun had condensed, which caused the members of the Dragon Clan to have a headache, scattered in all directions and shattered on the spot. It was as if the space had really been torn apart. A red brilliance swept across the horizon, and monstrous starlight appeared. Boom, boom, boom. The rosy brilliance shone on Long Kun's face, causing the strange energy around Long Kun to explode. This caused the originally unstable space to tremble violently, causing the entire Long Meng Dong heavenly abode to tremble. Because of this, it began to vibrate. In the face of such a vast aura, Long Kun's expression did not change much. He quietly looked at the red light and smiled. He did not make any drastic moves. The current Long Kun was extremely calm. As the red light got closer and closer to him, Long Kun's expression became more and more relaxed. It was as if he had been waiting for a long time. He chose to confront Long Chen head-on. In the blink of an eye, he came into contact with reincarnation. The red light, which contained an incomparably violent power, directly pierced through Long Kun's entire body. Even when the Hong Meng explosion in the sky stopped, the dragon lake still continued to rise and fall. Chapter 2042. The red brilliance penetrated the sky in an instant, enveloping the entire dragon lake. All of the strange energy within the dragon lake dissipated at this moment and turned into nothingness. However, when the red light gradually dissipated along with Long Chen's attack, a scene that shocked Long Chen appeared. Under such a powerful attack from Hong Meng, Long Kuan, who was resisting Long Chen with his physical body, still had a determined expression on his face even though his body had been pierced through by the red light. It was as if the change in the world had nothing to do with him. Like a god. As for the strange energy that had been destroyed by the red light, it began to reverse as Long Kuan's aura fluctuated. The strange energy started to condense once again. This change caught Long Chen off guard. Immediately after, Long Kuan, who had a determined expression on his face, moved his lips and said one word, "Break." The monstrous energy gathered in Long Kuan's palm. In the blink of an eye, this energy shot towards Long Chen. Clang! The energy that seemed to suppress the heavens and earth surged out. However, before it could even touch Long Chen's body, the red light around Long Chen's body was shattered by the surge of this energy. Long Chen's entire body was also suppressed by this powerful energy. Li was sent flying backwards. After forcing Long Chen back with a single move, Long Kuan revealed a smile on his face. However, there was still an unconcealable killing intent in his cold eyes. Immediately after, Long Kuan's body moved slightly. Numerous illusionary figures shot out in all directions like lightning. As he turned around, these illusionary figures appeared around Long Chen's body. Every single one of them emitted an incomparably violent aura. Immediately after, they charged towards Long Chen, who was still retreating. Dong dong dong. A series of muffled sounds rang out. Long Chen could only endure the first few attacks. After all, Long Chen did not have the strength to resist at that time. After Long Chen made some adjustments, he calmed down his aura. Although it was not enough to launch another attack, it was more than enough to block the attacks of these illusionary figures. On the other side of the battle, the situation was critical. Under the leadership of Long Mu, the members of the Dragon Clan had sealed off most of the strange energy. Just as they were about to return to help Long Chen, the originally suppressed and sealed strange energy suddenly grew stronger and directly broke through the original suppression of the Dragon Clan. Once again, the energy within the Long Meng paradise was suppressed. The entire Long Meng utopia started to fluctuate. Although the fluctuation didn't connect to the entire Long Meng utopia, it was enough to affect the entire Long Meng utopia. Irreparable damage caused by the environment. Very quickly, Long Mu once again commanded the Dragon Clan to suppress the destruction of the strange energy. Long Yuan, who had been following closely behind Long Mu, would occasionally glance at the scene above the Dragon Lake. There were more than a dozen Dragon Clan elders surrounding and attacking the venerable Blood Corp. After gaining the upper hand, Long Yuan no longer paid any attention to it. However, on the other side, the battle between Long Chen and Long Kuan had caused Long Yuan to be on tenterhook. Long Mu, it seems like my teacher can't hold on any longer. When Long Yuan saw Long Chen being pushed back by Long Kuan, he quickly grabbed Long Mu and cried out in alarm. Upon hearing these words, Long Mu's expression turned slightly cold. Immediately, he turned around and saw Long Chen, who was being forced back by Long Kuan, firmly suppressed. Seeing this scene, Long Mu furrowed his brows. The Hong Meng aura around him trembled slightly, but it quickly dissipated. At the start of the battle, Long Chen had told Long Mu that Long Kuan wasn't someone who could be dealt with purely based on strength. To deal with Long Kuan, one had to use the right method. Long Mu, say something. If you aren't willing to help, then I'll go. I can't just watch my teacher die in the hands of that Long Kuan fellow. Long Yuan shouted. After saying this, Long Yuan turned around. The Hong Meng aura around him gathered as he prepared to fly out. However, before Long Yuan could move, he was grabbed tightly by Long Mu behind him. Long Yuan was extremely shocked. Just as he was about to explode, Long Mu said in a deep voice, "Your teacher has never been one to boast. He said that with our strength, we won't be able to deal with him. Thinking about it, there must be something behind it. You've seen what happened to me. I'm not Long Kuen's opponent. Even if I go over, I'll only be a burden to Long Chun. But teacher is obviously not that fellow's opponent." Long Yuan's expression was anxious. Long Mu shook his head and said, "There's no other way. Other than trusting him, we don't have a better solution." After saying this, Long Yuan couldn't help but turn around. He didn't want to look at Long Chen's battle. Suddenly, Long Mu's eyes lit up. He grabbed Long Yuan again and hurriedly said, "There might be a way. Long Yuan, leave Long Meng Paradise now and go to the entrance to look for Senior Feng Long." Hearing this, Long Yuan immediately reacted. With Feng Long's strength, he would definitely be able to deal with Long Kuen. Long Yuan hurriedly circulated the Hong Meng aura around him and said, "All right, I'll go now." Long Mu nodded and watched as Long Yuan flew towards the horizon of Long Meng Paradise. Feng Long was the same as Ancestor Ice Dragon. They were both ancestors of the dragon clan that existed 100,000 years ago. The strength that he possessed was definitely not to be underestimated. Otherwise, it would take more than 10 Hong Meng Tianjing 9th layer Dragon Clan elders to hold back Venerable Blood Corp. Ancestor Ice Dragon alone could easily deal with Venerable Blood Corpse, who was similar in strength to Venerable Blood Corpse. Although both of them were Hong Meng Tianjing 9th layer, the difference in strength was self-evident. The longer one lived, the more one's strength would slowly increase. After Long Yuan left, Long Mu once again looked at the battle between Long Chun and Long Kuen. He muttered to himself, "Even if we can't win, we have to survive. We still have to go to Lin Meng Polar region to look for your other disciple." Bang! After Long Kuen forcefully withstood Long Chen's attack, the following battle was completely under Long Kuen's control. Furthermore, there were no gaps in the battle. Streaks and streaks of strange energy pillars continuously bombarded Long Chen's body. Just dealing with these extremely powerful energy pillars had already taken up a lot of Long Chen's time. Naturally, there was no need to talk about counterattacking. Continuing to be beaten up like this was not a solution. Even if he was able to dodge most of the attacks, there would still be some that slipped through the net. When Long Chun least expected it, he would be able to deal the greatest blow to Long Chun. Chapter 2043. Bang! A strange energy condensed into a killing force that shook the heavens. Following which, with an extremely turbulent momentum, it swept past Long Chen in a direction where Long Chen was least prepared and heavily smashed into Long Chen's shoulder. Above. By the time Hong Meng's explosion was cut off from Long Chen's body, Long Chen's entire shoulder was a bloody mess. His body had also lost its balance while flying. He flew to one side in an extremely uncontrollable manner. Even though Long Chun had already reconstructed his muscles and bones in the Demon Phoenix's array, receiving such a powerful impact caused Long Chen's body to be severely affected. Fortunately, this attack was not enough to completely destroy Long Chen's ability to fight. This could be considered a blessing in disguise. Your real body is quite sturdy. When Long Chun finally regained his balance after expending a great deal of effort, Long Kuen, who had succeeded in one move, mocked Long Chen with a complacent smile. According to Long Kuen's estimation, this attack that he had accumulated for a long time was enough to shatter the body of a Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 9 expert, causing him to be severely injured. However, this attack had only caused Long Chen to temporarily lose his balance. After losing some balance, Long Kuen was able to regain his balance in a few breaths' time. Other than the injuries on his body, there were no other obvious effects. This was something that Long Kun found hard to accept. Recalling the hardships he had suffered in order to condense this body, Long Chen rudely wiped away the blood on his shoulder with his palm. Gritting his teeth, he coldly said to Long Kun, "Of course, it's a good thing that the body is strong. Naturally, it's a good thing. Before I came to Hongmeng, I was able to possess such a realm in the origin continent. Who knows how many bodies I had destroyed with my strength." Long Kun shook his head and laughed. "However, for someone of your cultivation level, it's extremely sturdy. Even if you have such a strong physical body, in my opinion, it's just a waste of your strength. So what if I don't live up to my name? In the end, I still managed to withstand several of your attacks. Furthermore, you continuously mocked my low cultivation level, but didn't you still manage to fight me for a long time without being able to extricate yourself?" Long Chen retorted. Hearing these words, Long Kun could not help but gasp in surprise. His expression immediately changed as he angrily said, "Then I want to see just how many of my attacks can this tyrannical real body of yours withstand." At the same time, the strange aura around Long Kun's body suddenly released a ferocious aura, as if it had been accumulating for a long time. The moment this aura was released, it caused the Hongmeng energy around Long Kun to become blood-red. The shattering impact of the splendor. With a slight accumulation of strength, the force condensed in Long Kun's palm like a tributary of water flowing into the sea. At this moment, the ancient aura that caused the heavens and earth to lose their luster was controlled by Long Kun. "I want to see just how you're going to receive this attack." Long Kun's expression was filled with rage, and a blood-red killing intent flashed across his eyes. As he waved his palms, the primordial energy in this area exploded one after another. It was as if the primordial energy was endless. Long Chen let out a long breath as his expression gradually turned serious. Even though the force that Long Kun had gathered had yet to reach him, Long Chen could already feel the immense killing power contained within the force. To be able to possess such great strength, you're truly worthy of being from the origin continent. Long Chen slowly released the aura around his body before circulating the Hongmeng aura through his meridians. At this moment, the power of the Dragon Clan bloodline in his body gushed out and condensed in front of Long Chen as if it was formed by nature. A heavenly dragon shadow formed from the convergence of the aura. Immediately after, a second heavenly dragon shadow appeared, followed by a third. In the end, 9 heavenly dragon shadows stepped through the air and appeared. Within a few breaths, they had surrounded Long Chen's body. These 9 heavenly dragon shadows were also strengthened by Long Chen's bloodline power and appeared extremely powerful at this moment. When he used the heavenly dragon art once again, Long Chen actually comprehended a slightly different feeling from before. This time around, the heavenly dragon that was formed was completely connected to Long Chen's mind. Hence, Long Chen's control over the heavenly dragon illusory image was related to the heavenly dragon illusory image. Shadow's battle prowess had also increased significantly. This was probably due to the increase in Long Chen's spirit power. In this battle, Long Chen's spirit power had gradually grown and finally broke through the last layer of shackles. This allowed Long Chen to have the power to control the heavenly dragon true body even before he had reached the Hongmeng Tianjing realm. All of this was thanks to the heavenly dragon elder in the people of Demon Phoenix's formation. And now, Long Chen's spirit power was so strong that he could control the heavenly dragon true body. When he used the heavenly dragon art again, the 9 heavenly dragons that appeared were extremely powerful. This was enough to shock Long Chen. The 9 heavenly dragons roared in the air as the vast power of the Dragon Clan bloodline surged out and rushed towards Long Kun's body in the distance. This slight pressure that was better than nothing could possibly be the key to this battle between Long Chen and Long Kun. Long Chen looked at Long Kun, who was still in shock, and a vast aura appeared on his face. Immediately, he shouted towards Long Kun, "The heavenly dragon's power is invincible!" Boom! Above the dragon lake, Hong Meng's aura became extremely unstable due to the vibrations of the 9 heavenly dragons. The members of the dragon clan in the distance were so shocked that they were speechless when they saw this shocking scene. To them, they naturally knew that the technique that Long Chen used was the heavenly dragon art. However, in their understanding, the heavenly dragon art was still the 8 parts heavenly dragon art. When one cultivated it to the limit, one could only form 8 heavenly dragons. However, Long Chen actually formed 9 heavenly dragons. The majestic aura that surged out from the 9 heavenly dragons was controlled by Long Chen's spirit power, after which, it was supplemented by the supreme force released by the domain pearl. It quickly gathered into a pillar of air that was filled with absolute power. After a quarter of an hour or so, after about 15 minutes of preparation, it blasted towards Long Kun's direction. In this process, everyone could clearly see that when Long Chen blasted out this pillar of energy, the 9 heavenly dragons that were hovering in the air suddenly released their own aura and charged towards Long Chen. The 9 heavenly dragons were completing some kind of sacrifice. Long Chen wanted to use the power of the 9 heavenly dragons to nourish himself. After absorbing the power of the 9 heavenly dragons, he would be able to absolutely crush his opponent. Chapter 2044. When the 9 heavenly dragons, accompanied by the boundless Hong Meng Yuan Qi, entered Long Chen's body, the sky seemed to have cracked open at this moment. Then, everyone was shocked at this moment. The brilliance of energy, which almost broke the entire sky, rose out of thin air and went straight into the clouds. Waves of vast energy surged out from Long Chen's heavenly dragon true body. Through the circulation of the brilliance of energy, it seemed to have formed some kind of necessary connection with the sky. At this moment, the power of the two was connected. The supreme power poured in, and the dragon lake below surged. At this moment, a dragon-shaped brilliance condensed and slowly emerged beside Long Chen, releasing an extremely dazzling brilliance. Then, a second one, a third one soon, the dragon-shaped brilliance condensed by Long Chen's power spread out at an extremely fast speed. Almost everyone did not expect that after Long Chen used the heavenly dragon secret art, he did not make any use of it. Instead, he let the 9 heavenly dragons flow back into his body to digest the power. There were only 2 results by doing this. Either Long Chen's true body could not withstand the enormous energy of the 9 heavenly dragons, and after the whole thing was over, Long Chen's body would explode and he would die. Or Long Chen's true body could absorb and refine the supreme energy of the 9 heavenly dragons. At that time, Long Chen would possess a power that was stronger than any Hong Meng Yuan Jie. At that time, even if Long Chen had not reached Hong Meng Tianjing, he would be no different from the real Hong Meng Tianjing. In fact, he might even be stronger. Under these 2 extremes, it was obvious that Long Chen had completed the second challenge. At this moment, Long Chen felt a surge of power that he had never experienced before. At this moment, it was as if he controlled the world. Long Chen's true body gradually grew. In less than a few breaths, it was already nearly 10 times bigger than before. Now, Long Chen's body was nearly 100 feet tall. Every time his body moved, it would cause the Hong Meng Qi in the dragon lake below to be raged and chaotic. Vast energy surged out at this moment. In Long Chen's eyes, the aura that flashed in the air seemed to condense into a physical body, constantly emitting a vast energy that could overpower all things. The dragon-shaped brilliance that formed around Long Chen's body grew more and more. They gradually gathered and surrounded a corner of the sky. Waves roared, the wind and the clouds of the world shook. The heavenly dragon art was the dragon clan's supreme martial art. Like its name, the heavenly dragon art naturally came from the heavenly dragon bloodline. However, how could a technique that even Long Meng Dao ancestor used as the foundation of his cultivation be considered a heavenly dragon art alone? In the past, when Long Chen used the heavenly dragon art, he still needed to use the Ice Origin Soul or the mysterious dragon Sacred Flame to increase the destructive power of the heavenly dragon body to another level. Now, even if Long Chen did not have the Ice Origin Soul, he could not use the mysterious dragon Sacred Flame smoothly. However, this time, the assassin Long Chen's spiritual energy was able to use the heavenly dragon art. The heavenly dragon body that was formed alone had the power to destroy the world. The heavenly dragon art was indeed worthy of being the Dragon Clan's supreme martial art. Interesting, this is really interesting. Looking at Long Chen's astonishing actions, Long Kuen's expression changed from the initial mocking to a serious one. He never expected that a Hong Meng Yuan Jie, Long Chen, would be able to surprise him one after another. As a member of the Dragon Clan, and with the strength of the Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 9, Long Kuen naturally knew about the origin of the spiritual energy. He also knew about the advancement of the heavenly dragon art. And now, Long Chen was able to display these things that even Long Kuen was helpless against in such a short period of time. This caused Long Kuen to withdraw his previous intention of fooling Long Chen. When facing an opponent who was on par with him, he had to at least show some respect. However, in front of me, even if you have brought me so many surprises, you still won't be able to survive. Long Kuen calmed down the aura around his body. The strange energy around his body gathered once again. Faintly, his entire body revealed a sense of withering. Boom! Long Chen did not care about any of Long Kuen's taunts. The current Long Chen had reached the peak of his cultivation realm. His entire body was constantly suffering from the backlash of his strength. If he was distracted for even a moment, it would cause his aura to flow backwards. Perhaps, Long Chen would not even need Long Kuen to retaliate, and he would be destroyed by himself. Long Chen gathered all the energy around his body and channeled it into the Pearl of Domain in his hand. After a few consecutive battles, Long Chen finally understood that if he wanted to defeat Long Kuen, he could only use the energy within the Pearl of Domain. Otherwise, everything would be in vain. Previously, the dragon-shaped light around Long Chen's body was formed when Long Chen channeled his energy into the Pearl of Domain. After that, he borrowed the energy from the Pearl of Domain to condense the light. In other words, the dragon-shaped light around Long Chen had the ability to deal with Long Kuen. This was also one of Long Chen's decisive moves. At this moment, Long Kuen would never have imagined that the dragon-shaped light around Long Chen's body actually contained the energy within the Pearl of Domain. Long Chen suddenly leapt forward. Waves of dragon roars filled the sky. Long Chen's body seemed to have become a Hong Meng trigger point. In this extremely short period of time, an unparalleled boundless Hong Meng energy shot out. At the same time, with the help of Long Chen's spirit energy, it caused this part of the world to become incomparably violent. It was unstoppable. The dragon-shaped light around Long Chen's body blossomed at this moment. The resplendent light indicated an unparalleled energy attack. Close to 1,000 dragon-shaped lights. Every single one of them had the ability to kill Long Kuen. Long Chen's huge body was surrounded by these lights. Under the resplendent light, the clouds above the dragon lake gathered at this moment. Hong Meng shook. Long Chen's eyes turned slightly serious. In an instant, Long Chen took another step forward. The energy around his body was pushed forward in an instant. At this moment, it was released. Boom! In between heaven and earth, Long Chen's huge body actually disappeared into nothingness. At the same time, between the horizon and the dragon lake, a dazzling energy pillar appeared. As the pillar moved, the entire dragon lake shook non-stop. The surrounding Hong Meng energy was on the verge of collapse. Long Kuen looked at the pillar that was getting closer and closer to him. He couldn't help but let out a long breath. Immediately after, Long Kun released his energy. The strange energy around him condensed and heavily blasted towards the pillar. Chapter 2045. A strange aura followed Long Kun's body as it surged out from the horizon. What was shocking was that this aura actually condensed into a complicated imprint right in front of Long Kun. The imprint started to change, and the dense aura of the heavens and earth started to rush towards the imprint, as though it was being devoured by the 9-6 heavens and earth. Black energy surged out from all directions. The energy that was summoned by Long Kun and was everywhere in the Long Meng paradise actually started to gather towards Long Kun at this moment. As for the energy that Long Kun sent towards Long Chen, it also became unparalleled as more and more strange energy gathered around it. Clang! The void imprint formed by the strange energy contained a fiendish energy that was enough to tear apart the horizon. It radiated with an unstoppable aura as it smashed against the void imprint formed by Long Chen's real body. The moment the two energies came into contact with each other, the energy within a 100-mile radius of Hong Meng actually stopped circulating. At the very least, it was under some kind of control. After that, the two energies broke apart with a reverse force and blossomed at this moment. A crack in space appeared, and an intense shockwave spread out in all directions. The turbulent Hong Meng energy waves were accompanied by an aura that seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth. At this moment, the entire Dragon Lake was stirred up by raging waves that surged towards the surrounding Long Meng paradise. At this moment, all the members of the dragon tribe in the Long Meng paradise were completely shocked by this scene. At the very beginning, no one could have imagined that Long Chen, who was only from the Hong Meng Yuan Jie, would actually be able to display such ferocious strength when facing the #1 expert of the younger generation in the dragon tribe. Bang! An indescribable vibration of the heavens and earth caused the entire Long Meng paradise to tremble. The void imprint that was hovering above the dragon lake was instantly shattered. At the center of the shattered void imprint, a shock wave that caused the heavens and earth to tremble burst out. Two thin and weak figures were also sent flying out from the shock wave. These two figures were Long Kun and Long Chen. However, unlike before, the two of them no longer had the protection of their dragon tribe true bodies. Instead, they were flying in their human forms. Clearly, their dragon tribe true bodies had suffered different degrees of injuries in the collision earlier. As a result, they could no longer maintain their dragon tribe true bodies and reveal their complete bodies to everyone. Who? After Long Chen stabilized his body, he slowly wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth. Only then did Long Chen feel an intense pain coming from his body. The strange energy that accompanied Long Kun's attack had entered Long Chen's meridians the moment they came into contact with each other. This caused Long Chen to have no choice but to give up on his true dragon body. Only then did he release his true dragon body and revert to his human form. However, what Long Chen did not expect was that the strange energy that had invaded his body had already followed Long Chen's Hong Meng into his current body. This immediately caused Long Chen, who was in his human form, to be unable to endure it. Fortunately, Long Chen's human form was originally controlling the Pearl of Domain. When Long Chen activated his spirit power and released a little of the Pearl of Domain's power on his body, the strange energy in Long Chen's body gradually dissipated. After that, Long Chen, whose aura had slightly calmed down, hurriedly looked into the distance in an attempt to check on Long Kun's situation. In the previous collision, even though Long Chen felt that he had the power to control the heavens and earth, he was still evenly matched with Long Kun. It seemed that Long Kun had the ability to become stronger when facing a stronger opponent. Every time Long Chen and Long Kun clashed, it would always end in a stalemate. Otherwise, both sides would suffer losses, and neither side would be able to gain an absolute advantage. Perhaps Long Chen thought that this result was too unreasonable for him. It was probably because Long Chen had forgotten that his cultivation level was merely at the Hongmeng Yuanjie. In the past few hundred years, almost every battle that Long Chen had fought was against opponents whose cultivation level was several levels higher than his. Under this kind of subtle influence, even Long Chen himself was not clear about the strength that he could display with his cultivation level. Becoming stronger when facing a stronger opponent was a very suitable description for Long Chen. At this moment, since Long Quan was flying backwards in his human form, it was obvious that he did not have much of an advantage in the previous collision. It could even be said that Long Quan's injuries were even more serious than Long Quan's. Just as Long Chen had predicted, Long Quan did not expect that the dragon-shaped light surrounding Long Quan actually contained the power of the Pearl of Domain, which Long Quan was most afraid of. It was also because of this reversal that the moment the dragon-shaped light touched Long Quan, Long Chen suffered a huge blow. For a period of time, he was unable to display his strength again and could only allow Long Chen to control the situation. For Long Quan to be able to last until this point in the execution of words competition, it could be said that he had done his best. What a despicable move! Long Chen's expression was somewhat sinister, and his depressed aura quickly dissipated. However, from his reaction, it could still be seen that he was extremely dissatisfied with Long Chen's method of adding the power of the Pearl of Domain to the dragon-shaped light. You were careless and now you are complaining about me? Don't tell me that your strength is only in appearance? Long Chen endured the intense pain in his meridians as he gritted his teeth and retorted to Long Quan. Humph! Long Quan coldly snorted and made a disdainful expression as he said, "You are only temporarily increasing your strength. Right now you can't even protect your true body. What other moves do you have to fight with me? You are not my opponent. I have never treated you as an opponent." Long Chen lightly smiled and said, "My mission is only to delay you. Once the Ice Dragon Ancestor and the various elders of the Dragon Clan kill your two companions called Venerable Blood Corpse and Venerable Blood Demon, won't it be easy for the entire Dragon Clan to deal with you? You shameless!" Hearing these words, Long Quan's expression twitched. His eyes could not help but become slack as he hurriedly looked to the other side. Venerable Blood Demon was at a disadvantage in the battle with the Ice Dragon Ancestor. It would not be long before he was killed by the Ice Dragon Ancestor. After all, Venerable Blood Demon was only an illusory figure at this moment. As for Venerable Blood Corpse, he was being held back by more than 10 elders of the Dragon Clan. They were slowly exhausting Venerable Blood Corpse's strength. Venerable Blood Corpse, who was unable to move, was on the verge of death. It was as if the outcome was already decided. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.